right, here we go. Mob James, welcome back.
Hey, glad to be back, man.
Yeah, tough times right now.
For real.
Tough times right now.
Real.
I wish we were talking under better circumstances.
Oh, it's all good for me because I ain't been around no more than 6 people. This is cool. So I'm safe. And I'm just staying away from everything. I'm just trying to be safe. I ain't scared of it though, but I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Not all of us. You still got motherfuckers out there running the streets, drinking, and I want to get to that later, but you still got people out there drinking, acting like it doesn't matter. Going to the beach, kicking it. You still got people having parties. Come on now. I mean, do you not care if you live or die? Or if you catch this shit? Some people don't care.
Yeah, because it's invisible. That's the problem. There's an invisible thing out there someplace.
Right.
And you don't know who has it, because even if you don't have symptoms, you could be a carrier.
Exactly.
You could spread it. It's not like, for example, like when SARS was a thing. Remember, you heard about SARS and it was killing people. But with SARS, when you got it, you started to get real sick right away. So they really went overboard and made sure they isolated everybody and so forth. And they managed to essentially kill off SARS.
Right.
But with coronavirus, you don't know. You just don't know.
It's so crazy because I'm watching these people hang out and they telling the police to get the fuck out their hood. This our hood. We ain't gotta go in the house. I'm not finna run from this shit. Come on, man. And I'm just gonna get into it like right now. The way they speak on the reparation shit. If you can't deal with this coronavirus, stay in the fucking house for 14 days. You got all your essentials and all that shit. Just stay in the house, let this shit blow by, let's come out and do our thing. No, you got to send the National Guards down here to get motherfuckers to stay in their house. It shouldn't be like that. Because if you're not thinking about yourself, think about all the other people that's around you. Think about your kids you might be giving it to. And, they just not thinking like that. So we on this I don't give a fuck, but these other people is taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can't even just tell people, man, stay in the fucking house, let this shit happen, let it blow by, and then come out and do your thing.
Oh, yeah. We put a video up in India. There was a video of a bunch of men that were still going to the mosque.
Yeah.
And you saw a video of a police officer literally hitting these men with a stick.
Oh, on the bicycle?
No. It was he was just standing in front of the mosque. And
Hitting
he was literally beating these guys with a stick as they were running out of the mosque. Because a lot of people just aren't taking it seriously. They're still going to church. They're still going to the mosque. They're going to the synagogue, whatever their religious thing. Because, Easter's coming up. That's all canceled. But people maybe feel that God will protect them and they go to a house of worship.
And I also believe that. I believe, God is the answer to me, to all of it. Mm-hmm. But, the shit is here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Think about it. It's here and people are dying.
Yeah.
And then just here in our state, the numbers is getting higher in California. So that would be alarming to me and anybody else. So I wouldn't give a fuck if you're a gangbanger, if you just want to jog and go exercise and do all that other shit. It's a way to do it without being around a gang of people.
Correct.
And they need to just him, my boy Lee. All the gyms are closed. He came to my house. I gave him a weight bar, some weights. He doing his shit out of the garage.
Yeah,
me
too.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm working out at home.
And what's wrong with that? We just got to understand, man, this shit is serious.
Yeah, and if you really take a step back, this is also creating a lot of opportunities for people and businesses. You now have a captive audience, a new audience of people who are at home, who are not going to work.
With shit to do,
with nothing to do.
Right.
If you have a media company, if you have a particular product that you're selling for a specific thing to these types of people, you now have a bigger audience. Trust me, while a bunch of people are complaining and saying how bad it is, there's millions of people that are sitting by and saying, okay, this is the break I've been looking for. Right. Now I could help build up my business. Right. I could help start this blog, this podcast, this YouTube channel or whatever, and I have people that are actually interested in it right now. So look at the bright side of things, man. At least try to.
I'm staying in the house. I don't care what happened.
Yeah.
I got shitload of water. I got all my food, my meats.
You got toilet paper?
I got 5 rolls of shit paper. I even got the rolls of paper that come from the gas station. I'm ready.
Well, you don't live in Compton anymore.
Oh no.
But do you still keep in contact with people and finding out?
They got the army out there and everything now.
The army's in Compton.
Yeah. They like I was saying earlier, a lot of cats ain't taking it serious. A lot of people was not taking it serious. And they ain't shutting down shit. Well, didn't want to shut down nothing in Compton. So they got the guards and the police coming and it's either 30 days, they want to take you to jail for 30 days, giving you a fine. And now they say, I think Wednesday, you're gonna be on a 9 o'clock curfew. So nobody be outside. So if you got a job and you had to get from point A to point B, they give you a letter to where you got to keep in your car and then,
Yeah. Well, we're a news agency. We're a news media company, so we're actually exempt from these lockdowns.
But you got to have that letter or something in your car.
Or something. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly it is, but I told my staff if they ever get stopped, because all my staff is working from home, but occasionally in New York, they have to come in for shoots in our studio. Yeah. But I told them, like, if you get stopped, let them know you work for Vlad TV. You can pull up the website or the app, and there's all the news right there on the front page. I think they're more targeting the businesses rather than the people. They're trying to avoid businesses who are continuing.
And that's a good thing, too.
And that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. We're literally on the list to be exempt. And listen, I feel that it's up to us to continue to report on the news and continue to put out real information and try to, break down conspiracy theories and so forth. People that think that blowing a hot air dryer in your mouth is going to kill it, and just
in your mouth or just in front of your face.
Right. I've heard the stupidest.
I heard that one too.
I've heard that Carrie Hilson, the R&B singer, did a set of tweets that said that 5G, internet phone service is what caused it. And you just see the most ridiculous things out there. Remember at one point, Waka Flocka said that black people can't get it?
Yeah. Why is that? I mean, man, that shit, it don't have no color barriers. Everybody getting it.
Right.
But how the hell you can get it and you can fix this shit from home? You can cure yourself. And that's the crazy part about it. The panic that they putting on the people is crazy. I don't like this shit. You got to do some type of homework on it because you want to be that cautious. But sitting there with the blow dryer in my face because it's all right here, they say. Then they say garlic and water, boil it, drink it. Putting your face in a pot of steaming water. I mean, I know everybody ain't doing that.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I personally know 2 people that are hospitalized from coronavirus. These are people who I haven't physically seen in a few years.
Right.
So it's not like I'm around them. But Scarface, the rapper, is hospitalized right now. And him and Willie D did a Zoom remote interview about it.
Right.
Scarface went through kidney failure. Both of his kidneys let out. He said he was throwing up to just a massive degree, and they took him to the hospital and positive for coronavirus, and he seems to be okay right now.
Oh, so it's some comeback after they get that far.
Yeah, there is. They have technology out there. They have medicines out there that will help. And he seems to be stable okay. But I personally know Scarface.
Right.
Okay? Like, that's someone who that I've interviewed multiple times. We keep in touch. We text. We call. We keep in contact. Scarface is not a liar. He's not being paid by the government to make this up.
Well, a lot of people thinking that these superstars are being paid.
Yeah, Cardi B said that, which is just, like, come on. Like, cut it out.
This shit, I believe this shit is for real.
Yeah.
But I think they putting way more on it, and the reason why they putting way more on it because people was not taking it serious.
Yeah.
If people just took it serious just on the fact that, okay, this shit is out there, so let me do what I gotta do to not get it or spread it. You know what I'm saying? Stay at home. That's the bottom line to it.
Well,
I wish that dude well. He's
I
getting
do
better
too.
though, right?
He's what?
He's getting better.
He is getting better.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there's another guy, this actor I know named Dennis White, who I've known for a bunch of years. He sent me a video from the hospital. He's in recovery as well, but he said he had 103 temperature and a horrible cough and so forth. It's a rough situation. We're actually going to bring in a doctor later this week who's actually at the hospital dealing with these patients. And he's going to talk about what's really happening versus what's not happening, and the real versus the fake, and everything else like that. So it is real. It's not fake. No one's getting paid for it. It's not a conspiracy. People really are getting sick. People really are dying. But not everybody's dying. I think the fatality rate is something like between 2% and 4%.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and a lot of times people have underlying conditions. I'm not sure about Scarface. I think he did have some health problems some years back. So I don't know whether, because I know he lost a ton of weight at one point. I don't know his exact situation, so I don't want to speak on it. But I think he did have some health issues from before.
Well, I just wish that guy the best. And, you know, we could prevent this if we just stay at home. You know, a lot of us, they say by the time the summer comes, the heat, I guess, kills it.
Well, they're comparing it to a seasonal flu, right? You know, the flu comes in the wintertime. And people die from the flu.
Right.
Puffy's baby mother died from the flu.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. I keep forgetting.
Well, I ain't trying to die.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let no flu kill me, no shark. I ain't doing nothing stupid that I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Kim Porter, the mother of 2 of his children, I believe.
Yeah.
She died from the flu in 2018. So the flu kills people also. Don't get it twisted. And they're saying that it might be a seasonal thing where it dies down in the summer, but then it could come back next winter.
Well, we should be ready for it next winter.
We should be ready for it next time. Well, I can tell you one positive thing. I haven't seen a lot of violence that's happened. It seems like all that's just kind of shut down.
Well, a lot of people was comparing it to 92. And I tell it's not the same thing as a riot. You know what I'm saying? You got some people, you know, breaking in shit and, you know, still doing robberies and shit. But for what? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do no home invasion because, Vlad, I went to the gun store and every damn thing in the gun store was gone.
Oh, everyone's buying up all the guns and the bullets?
Everything. The whole shelves, the racks, the case, everything was gone. So everybody is ready. And like I say, walk to my door talking about you here for the coronavirus. I'm dumping on your ass. Keep it pushing. I don't want to hear it. Don't come here talk about giving me a shot. You ain't testing me. Get away from my door.
You don't want to get tested?
They saying there's fake people coming pretending that they're
doing a home invasion?
Yeah, and they're coming in and getting people. I believe that type of shit because motherfuckers take advantage of shit like this. So if you think you finna come to my door and with this fake ass badge or doing whatever, nigga, you better have the van, the shoes, the gloves, the glasses. You better have the whole 9. And you better have this whole big old bag with your company. I'm not taking no chances. You ain't finna come in here and invade my privacy like that or take something from me. I got a grandchild that with me every day, so I'm protecting him. So I'm shooting to kill. I'm not playing.
Why do you have custody of your grandchild?
Well, my daughter was and my daughter is a little like me and her mother, and that was my God said, I'm gonna fix you with this one. And she does the things that I used to do. She got involved in the little neighborhood shit, the gangbanging shit, and she just got carried away. She's just really involved. And her mother Her mother went to jail for 5 years for robbery. She was robbing liquor stores out there in Compton. One of them set it off type of chicks.
She was robbing. Wait, your baby mother was robbing liquor stores.
My daughter mama was a straight hold up chick.
How many liquor stores did she rob? Did they say that she robbed?
The first time she did 2 or 3, and she went to jail. The first time she did 7 years.
Damn.
So when she went to jail that time, that's when I got custody of her. So I had her the whole time.
Your daughter?
My daughter.
Yeah.
So the whole 7 years she was in jail, I had her. Then I made her wait another year. So when she got out of jail, she joined church. She went to truck driving school, all that. And I let her go back to her mother. She wanted to be around her mama. A year after she went back home, she got pregnant. And my daughter got pregnant. And I didn't know my daughter was pregnant until she was 8 months.
Damn.
And she stayed away from me. And her mama didn't tell me, didn't say nothing. So I have a granddaughter. And then she had another child. And when she had her second child, now I'm concerned. You out here having babies and you out here fighting. And I mean, my daughter was just, let's just say she was with it. She was off the hook.
What gang did she claim?
Southside.
Southside Crips.
Yeah. Ain't that funny? So,
which for those that don't know is like your former arch enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keepy D, the whole Southside thing.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, you know, having a daughter from the other side and you ain't getting along. But her mother was from Southside. So with Pam doing her things, and my daughter just took that route. She didn't like to fight girls. She always fought the dudes over there. She was just off the hook. So just recently, when she was going through this, her mother had called the police, and when the police got involved, the kids got involved. So, and that was 2017. Now these people was talking about taking my grandkids and putting them in the system.
Foster care.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare.
So I was like, fuck that, you know, and I'm doing my thing, so how the fuck I'm gonna juggle? You know, I done took care of my daughter, but now here go my grandkids about to go in the system. So when I tried to get them, they tell me my record was too fucked up for me to get them. Wait a minute, I've been out of prison since 1988. How bad is my record? So the system tell me I can't take care of my grandkids. So my sister in November 2007 say she'll do it. But when my sister said she'll do it, give them to me and I'll do it. But when the people social workers need to see them, we'll be there. So I've been taking care of him.
Both kids?
No, well, the daddy came and got my granddaughter, which is the father of my oldest granddaughter.
Yeah.
He came and doing the father thing. And
you got your grandson.
And I got my grandson. But my daughter was doing good and you know, helping her financially, the whole nine. And then she just went back into that, and I've been there, that you get the feeling like, fuck this, I can't do the nice shit. I can't be right. Sweetheart, go to work. So I'm getting up, taking her to work so you need a job. Now, they laid on her paycheck. She tells her boss, fuck that. If I don't have my check when I get there at 12 o'clock, I'm gonna beat your ass, babe. You can't talk to people you work for like that. So UPS, she done.
Oh, she was at UPS.
Yeah, she can't do that now. You can't threaten people. People are scared of this shit. So just trying to get her to identify and slow down. You gotta understand, you gotta know what you're worth. It's a certain way to move around out here. And she got it, but then she didn't get it. She was just too impatient. And you know, smoking that marijuana and all that shit, and if she didn't have her blunt, it was on. You know, so.
Well, last time you were here, your 20-year-old little cousin
Yeah.
had just gotten killed.
Right.
And at the time, you explained how he was completely non-gang related,
Right.
how the whole thing broke your heart. He was essentially a victim.
Right.
But then I was listening to Gangster Chronicles, and some more information came out afterwards.
Yeah. Well, not seeing, because you don't see most of your family. When you see them, okay, everything good. You don't hear nothing about him. His mama didn't even know that he was like really involved in gangs the way he was. So she like, they just killed him. But then going over there and sitting there talking, and then here come these, where these gangbang niggas come from? And now he's involved trying to stick up a goddamn dispensary. So he was involved in the gangs. So him and his partners tried to stick up this dispensary. They shoot the security that was out there, but the security guard shoots him too. And that's how he loses his life. Just in the streets. So he also fell victim to doing what he do.
So he got killed by a dispensary security guard.
Yeah.
That he shot first.
So yeah.
How do you get your head around something like this when you're like, okay, this is my little cousin, and I love him and I love his family, but he died from someone acting in self-defense?
Well, it's the same shit that we go through every day or went through every day, gangbanging. I mean, I can't criticize the little cats in the neighborhood for what they're doing because I did it. I can't go and say, y'all on some stupid shit. You can't tell me that. And I can't go back and tell them that. I can't say he was wrong for doing what he was doing because he was out there acting as his own. Like, man, I gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? My whole message is we don't have to do it. But man, I mean, this is some everyday shit. And not knowing his family, it don't have to be, just because it's my cousin, it don't make it no difference. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole bunch of family members out there doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And some you can't save, some you can. But it's just crazy when it hit home. And that's when we all start thinking about it, when it hits home.
Do you personally feel any level of anger towards the security guard who killed him? Or do you feel, hey, that was self-defense?
No.
I don't feel any anger towards this man.
No. If I felt anger toward him, then we'd be trying to figure out who the fuck he is. I'm older now. Back then, probably so. But, I mean, I'm out here working. I got to go home to my family, too. So if a motherfucker out here robbing me and I shoot him, he ain't in jail for it. Self-defense. I done got a self-defense once before, taking a man's life. You know what I'm saying? So
Wait. You killed someone in self-defense?
Yeah.
Okay, we've never gone over this story.
Yeah, me and my little brother, well, we was all in the hood hanging out. This van keep coming back and forth. You remember that? Kept coming back and forth, back and forth. So we hit the corner, got our pistols, and we post up. So we see the van again. I'm like, fuck this, let me hit to the house. So I zoomed to the house, and when I get out of my Cadillac, here come this van. So he go to do he busted you, then went up to the dead end and then come back. By the time he come back, I'm in my front yard, we waiting on him. So the dudes start popping at us. So we start popping back at them. So it's 3 motherfuckers in this van, 4 in this van. So when they start popping, we start popping. One of the guys in the van get hit. And the shooting stopped, but we still shooting. So by the time they get to Martin Luther King, the police already on us and shit. I had a Jerry curl the whole 9 and shit. And the kids, one was 14. The one that got killed was 16. The guy was driving was 33 or something like that. Older cat.
A 33-year-old went and got a bunch of teenagers.
They actually gave the murder to him, the murder and attempted murder on him because he was in the midst. They told they were trying to jack for my car, and it went bad.
So they were trying to steal your car.
They wanted to jack me for my car. They wanted to jack me.
So pull up, get out point the gun, get out the car.
And take my shit. They wanted the Daytons off the car. That's okay. Back then when the Daytons was.
Oh yeah.
That's what they
80s,
want to do. Yeah. 84.
Yeah.
So the other guys in the car told the police at the hospital what they were doing and what had happened. That's the only thing that saved our life. Is that they was out jacking and they was finna try to take my car. That's the only thing that saved us.
How old were you?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Were they gang affiliated or no?
Yeah.
Southside?
No.
Something else?
No.
Okay.
They was from LA somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when it all came down, they came to our cell, told us it's our lucky day, and me and my brother walked out of there. It's our lucky day.
Buntry?
No, my youngest brother.
Okay.
So they said, y'all got a self-defense, and they let us out from there. We didn't even have to go. We were supposed to go to court, but we didn't go to court. They just gave us the self-defense. We walked out of there, and it's been done since. The guy that was driving the car, I think he got 30-some years to life.
So the driver walked away. He wasn't killed.
The driver is the one that went to jail. He was the older guy, got these little young cats out there.
So there was 4 people in the car?
4 in the van.
4 in the van. The driver survived and 2 other people survived, but 1 person got killed.
1 got killed, 1 got shot, and the other 2 got away, didn't get shot.
How old was the guy who got killed?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Murder is a very interesting thing when it comes to self-defense.
Why?
I've talked to people who have killed people in self-defense and really didn't see a problem with it.
I mean, it all depends. I mean, it's easy to kill a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us. We was killing motherfuckers just because. We was killing motherfuckers because of a color.
Yeah.
Some people was killed just on GP. It's no murder, it's murder. And why you killing a motherfucker, you really don't know, but you just do it. Killing it to us, it was natural. Yeah. It came to us naturally.
But self-defense is one of those things that's so inherent in, not everyone, I think, is capable of killing someone just for a color or for an idea, right?
Right.
Like, throughout history, people have killed other groups of people because of religious reasons, because of their country or whatever else.
Right.
I don't think not every person, you give a gun to certain soldiers and they just say, I can't do it. You could court-martial me, you could whatever, I'm not going to do it. But I think most human beings, when put into a self-defense situation, I would say that almost all of them will kill the other person if they knew their own life was...
A normal reaction, you bag me into a corner where I don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Understandable.
Right.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just a normal reaction. But just like I say, on my side of the fence, it was a just because thing. Because you wearing a certain color. Because you did this to my people. Just because you walked in our, you know what I'm saying? And it was a reason why. Every time you have a reason why. But when that situation happened with me and my brother and these cats, I didn't fear for my life. I was like, what the fuck is these cats up to?
So there was no fear at all as they're shooting at you?
No, I don't, no. They were shooting, we were shooting. Wasn't the first time I ever been involved in a shooting, so no, I wasn't scared that they were shooting too.
Once you found out that 16-year-old was dead, how did you feel?
I didn't care.
Didn't care.
No, they was trying to do something to me.
Right.
If I think about it now, I could say 16 years old. That's all he had in his life. I can say, damn, I can't bring him back. I can pray for him now, but then it was like, I didn't think twice.
Well, if you grab a gun and attempt to rob somebody, you have to understand that walking into that situation, that might be the last thing you ever do.
True.
Period.
True.
Gang, non-gang, whatever your color or race.
Whatever you're doing,
whatever you're
know
doing,
the consequences.
At the point that you take a gun and maybe the gun's not loaded, you just want to scare the person. Maybe you have...
Bad situation.
You know, your intention might have been never to kill somebody, but the reality is if you take a step back, when you take a weapon and you approach someone else, or not even with a weapon, when you approach to rob somebody, period, you have to understand that the rules do not apply. Whatever rules are in your own head does not apply to that other person.
Exactly. When you're out there doing shit like that, and we always talk, you have to have a plan B. The first plan is, you know what you're finna go do. If it don't work, you gotta have plan B. You know, like I used to tell niggas how they talk shit to you, and if I call this cat a bitch, that's the first thing. Now, if he respond the way I don't want him to, now I gotta have plan B. Now I gotta do what I gotta do. So I'm always ready. We have to be ready.
I remember when I interviewed Fat Joe last time, right?
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about the term "suck my dick," right? And to a certain type of person, that's considered the ultimate insult. Fat Joe told me that even today, with all the millions of dollars that he's made and his family and everything else like that, if someone told him to suck their dick, he would probably stab that person.
I'd lose it all for him.
What is it in New York? I feel this is a New York thing. What is it about the word "suck my dick" that gets people so riled up? I don't understand it.
But you say it, you know what I mean? You tell another man, suck my dick.
What does that even mean, though? That's like...
That means suck my dick. That means that it's a different type of thing, bro.
But that don't even sound appealing.
Probably
like, you know what I mean? Like,
disrespectful shit they invented to say.
Like, yeah, he sucked my dick.
I mean,
give me a high five.
Not justified.
Hanging, okay.
Not justified in court. You know, you can't go to court and say, yo, he said suck my dick, so I killed him.
I just, it's some jail shit, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. If somebody told me suck my dick right now in this hallway or something like that, I would stab him up or something right now. Like, I'm just being honest with you. I would really, really hurt this
Those
guy.
words are that serious to you?
Me personally, dudes have told me suck my dick, and it really has absolutely no effect on me whatsoever.
Well,
I find it kind of funny. I think it's a funny term, actually. But
that's the part I'm getting to now.
Yeah.
To accept what you say. It don't matter. I don't have to react. You know what I'm saying? To that. But calling a man a bitch and telling him to suck your dick, that's you in violation. Now you don't play with me like that, because I ain't gonna play with you like that. And I have did this to a lot of people, especially when I was on a motorcycle set. It was suck my dick to everything. A different club come, or my club brothers, they can suck my dick, faggot. And that was my way of letting you know I'm mad. Now, it's up to you to do whatever you feel. Now, if I get away with it, we shouldn't have a problem. But if you say that to me, I'm finna do 136, I'm finna go 136 on you, and we're gonna have a problem. Now you gotta prove to me what type of cat you is.
what's a 136?
I'm going all in.
Why is that called 136?
Well, they say 100. I'm putting the extra 36 on it. I'm going 136. I'm going beyond that, way above that. So it's just some shit you don't say to a grown-ass man.
What is it about that term that's so insulting?
Inviting another man to your private areas, it's like a fucked up, like you a bitch. Like, just might as well just call him a bitch. Get your faggot ass down here and suck. No.
That's some jail shit?
Oh, it's street shit too. It's everywhere.
Does that ever actually happen though? Do dudes do certain men try to humiliate other men by having that man suck their dick?
Yeah.
But doesn't that make the dude that's getting his dick sucked gay?
Well, that's why you got down low. You got motherfuckers like really into that.
You see where I'm going with this, right?
And I'm gonna tell you this.
Like, I don't care how much I hated somebody, I wouldn't want them to suck my dick. Like, if they're a man, like, you know what I mean? It's something that's not even part of my thinking process.
But if you was a half a punk, you would.
Okay, maybe. If I was gay, then yeah, I guess I would like dudes to suck my dick.
And I call them half a punks because they go both ways.
Okay.
And I'm not finna step on no gay dude or nothing like that. But you have cats that went to prison that was getting head from cats in prison. And then they come home and they don't play with me like that. They bring that shit home and then they talk like that, but it's insulting. You can't tell me to suck your dick. You calling me a bitch, you calling me a faggot. There's so many ways you can take it. So you got guys that's really like, okay, whatever. Now, it don't mean shit to me no more.
Right.
Because I know where I gotta go with it. So am I ready to deal with the repercussions of that? Going to prison because this nigga said what he said, I kill him, now I lose my life. My family is on their own now. My kids don't see me no more. This is how I'm thinking now. So I'm looking at it in a different way. So how would I react to it now? I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
I would think twice before I react to it.
As you should.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had a couple of conversations with some of my guests about this, about white people calling black people the N-word, right? I feel like because of the history of that word, it gives white people somewhat of an unfair advantage against black people, because calling a white man calling a black man that will elicit a very strong emotional response with most black people, whereas a black person doesn't have a similar word that they can say to a white person that'll cause an emotional response. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think you just have to be creative. Hunky, your white ass,
how many white
cracker.
How many white people really get angry enough to fight you for being called a honky?
White people, it doesn't matter to them like nigga matters to us. We, like I said, we have to fix ourselves from calling each other nigga or nigger. Two different things. Mm-hmm. They use the word nigger. Now you talking like some slave master type of shit.
Yeah. But my point is that there should not be a word that any human can call another human that would cause the other human to suddenly react out of anger without thought of the repercussions of their actions.
Well, Vlad, you got to think where we came from.
Yeah.
Where the term come from. You got to look. You got slavery, all this other shit. Then all the way up until now, you got white people that truly believe a nigger is not worth his conversation.
Right. It's not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's offensive. And if you really feel like that, the first thought in my mind is this is a racist motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I remember when we was little, when Roots came out, we went to school and beat up every white kid. It made you hate white people more. But our days now, you see white women marrying black men, white men marrying white women. It's changing, but racism is still there.
Yeah, we actually just interviewed John Amos, who played Kunta Kinte in Roots. Played the adult Kunta Kinte. Lunel, one of our outside interviewers, she actually does interviews for us now. She interviewed John. And they talked about how white kids would get beat up. Like after that series came out, white kids were getting beat up at these schools because the black kids.
They ever call you the N-word?
Once.
And you reacted how?
I corrected their behavior.
Amen.
Suffice it to say.
Amen. Okay. And
I think the statute of limitations has run out on it, so I can admit to correcting their behavior.
Yeah. It's all good. Don't worry. It's a no-fly zone. You're safe with me, baby.
Okay.
Safe with me.
You got to understand that in 2020, we know all about slavery. There's been so many movies from like Amistad and 12 Years a Slave, and it's been covered, and there's social media and everything else like that. But I remember reading this one story from Alex Haley where he said that when he started putting together Roots, because originally it was stories in Reader's Digest. It was these short stories about the black experience during slavery, which eventually led to the book Roots, which then led to the movie, to the miniseries Roots. But he said that when he was writing about that, nobody even knew about it. Nobody had mentioned it. It was in no books. There was no movies. There was no major books. This was just a ugly piece of history that America had just buried.
Not just only Roots, they buried a lot of history, especially ours. They started taking the history. We don't have history like in school. I don't need to know about what white people doing. And this is how I feel growing up. When they gave me a psychiatrist, this psychiatrist is white. My whole thing, this white motherfucker can't tell me nothing. He don't know me. So I didn't like white people. Growing up, going to the store, clenching all their purses, looking at you a certain kind of way. It's just offensive. And
were there any white people in your neighborhood at all? Because Compton originally was a white neighborhood.
When we moved in Compton in '73, we had a white man across the street from us. We bought our house, our house from a white man, and all the white people was leaving Compton when we moved. Yeah. So, but that one white guy that lived across the street, when he moved, the one on the corner, he died in his home. But our whole block was all black people at first. Now it's changed. Now it's all Mexicans. So everybody is running from something. Everybody is afraid of somebody. White people, when they saw the black people coming, they left. Now they've done moved where they got tornadoes and all this other shit and wish they'd have stayed in their homes. Because you don't really get all this bullshit, but the racism shit, calling me a nigger is one thing. Calling me a nigger is another thing. When you start having white friends and they hang with you and then they start thinking they black and can use the word nigger, it's up to you to say, wait a minute, hold up. Don't use that word loosely in front of such and such because they gonna get offended by it and they might whoop your ass. We don't do that. We allow everybody else to say it. Now the Mexicans is using it. What's up, my nigga? Come on, man. You know that word ain't bam. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit, you have to blame it on us because we allow it. But then we get mad at certain motherfuckers when they use it. Stop being mad about it. Let's start talking to each other without that word, and maybe other people will see, okay, if they ain't using that word, I might not want to.
Yeah. I mean, how many rappers, and I've interviewed lots of rappers. I think me and G Herbo had this conversation. I could be wrong though. But how many rappers do these shows that are mostly white people and they're performing their songs and they've got the N-word throughout their song and all the white kids are singing along and they don't really have a problem with it. But if a white person said that in their presence, they would have a problem with it, but singing their song, they don't. It's a dicey issue. You talk about how you're cool with your white fans using the N-word when quoting your songs.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. Like, I never use it. And if I'm singing along to something and that comes around, I'll just skip it.
You might skip it.
But you're cool with all of them,
I'm cool
thousands
with
of
it,
people.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing, bro. As long as you're not being disrespectful or in a derogatory manner. Like, I may slip up. Like, I just left a show and a white guy, I took a picture with him. I'm like, all right, my nigga. I call him a nigga. You feel me? So I can't be a hypocrite. Like, if you cool, I might say that. Like, all right, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. Like I don't. As long as you're not disrespecting me, calling me a nigga on a disrespectful, it might sound crazy, but it's music, bro. Like, you embracing me and our culture. You know what I'm saying? You putting yourself into my world. You are a fan of me. You love what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wake up and you may think about my music that may get you through whatever situation you're going through. You may wake up and need my music to be able to think on a certain level. People might be facing depression, not want to go to work, a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? And my music may get them through that, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, you know, I don't really trip out the word as long as you're not disrespecting me, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, a white person not just gonna openly use the word nigga around me like, yeah, nigga, but you know what I'm saying? I don't really mind if you at my shows and I see a white person in the crowd say nigga, I'm not about to say, hold on, stop that shit. Hey, you feel me? Like, I ain't tripping.
We ain't paying attention that we doing it to ourselves. We use this word so goddamn loosely, talking about our women, talking about ourselves, and we don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah, I personally, and look, it's not, as a white man, I have absolutely no say in this.
Yeah.
But I am going to just put in my 2 cents and say, I personally believe it's a word that nobody should use. And as you get rid of this word, you don't hear Jewish people calling themselves kike. Oh, what's up, my kike?
You can't get rid of the word.
You don't hear Asian people using racial slurs with each other. You don't hear Mexicans calling each other wetback or whatever derogatory term.
Yeah, you do. You just got to be out there.
You hear Mexicans using derogatory terms towards each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
they
maybe
do it. It's just not worse than nigga or nigger. We use it more than anybody. We use it more on anybody, and we're not offended for calling each other that. But when you got friends and other motherfuckers you fuck with that use this word, now we get offended. And I say this on Gangster Chronicles all the time. Why are we complaining and we the number one victims of ourselves? You know what I'm saying? But then we complain about how the police treat us. We complain about the doctor didn't want to see us, but they treat this white motherfucker a different kind of way. We do this shit to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of police, Philadelphia police announced that they're actually going to stop arresting nonviolent crimes for now. That includes narcotics offenses, theft, prostitution.
That's for right now.
For right now.
Well,
I remember Meek Mill did a tweet that said the purge begins tonight or something. I'll be honest, as I've been driving around LA, I haven't seen very many cops, period. Everyone's everyone's speeding on the freeway. No one's getting pulled over.
The police don't want to catch that shit either.
Right.
They don't know who they pulling over.
Right, because New York NYPD have had over 300 people test positive for coronavirus. 300.
Police is human just like us.
Absolutely.
I'd be scared as fuck just like them. And I wouldn't want to catch that shit. I wouldn't want to be around that shit. So that's why they don't want to arrest you, because they got to physically deal with you.
Yeah.
They got to put you in a car. They don't want you in a car and that motherfucker in the back seat breathing and they don't know if it starts sneezing. They don't want that shit. So, I mean, you can't blame them. But then they shutting the courts down and man, I'm sitting in here, but they letting people out of jail for traffic shit in there for warrants and shit like that. Citing them out, come back in 90 days, which is cool. You know, but I mean, I feel sorry for the cats that's sitting in there and they got court dates and ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to fight somebody, all you gotta do is just start coughing a lot. That person will just back up.
Gone. and I wouldn't blame them. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be for a long time to come.
Yes, it will.
You know what I'm saying? People gonna be, really scared of this shit.
Well, you mentioned the prison thing. 2 people tested positive for coronavirus at Rikers. One of them being Harvey Weinstein.
He came in there with that shit.
Oh, you think so?
He had to.
Huh.
If you in prison already, the only way you can get it is through a deputy or fucking with somebody that was from the outside that's coming that motherfucker on the daily. Inmates shouldn't have that shit.
Well, all the COs, they all go home and you don't know what they do.
They go home and they come back.
That's
how you catch it.
That's what I'm saying. The warden doesn't live in the prison. You know?
I hear what they're doing is they taking this thing and rubbing your forehead. They check your temperature. And then
if you're high, you got to go.
You got to go.
If you're a little bit higher, then you should be.
What if you get past that shit and then when you sit down and get to work?
What if you have no symptoms? Yeah. It's crazy. Well, I just want to touch on Harvey Weinstein for a second.
Yeah.
Since our last interview, Harvey Weinstein got sentenced to 23 years.
Good.
You agree with that?
Well, I'd be a hypocrite if I said I did. I feel the same way I did about Bill Cosby. You got these women coming after 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, hollering rape. If you rape a motherfucker, I say castrate his ass. I say put him in prison. But don't take a man's life for something that might have happened 20 years ago. You don't have no evidence. You don't have no rape kit. You don't have nothing. All you going by is a word that a woman jumped on the bandwagon and said, he did me too. Why are these women talking now? Me personally, if a man violates you, meaning a woman, you should say it right then and there. Fuck, I might lose my job. This gonna look bad on me if he get away. If you felt violated, if he touched you, you're supposed to speak on it.
Yeah, I mean,
right then and there.
Yeah, this is why they have rape kits.
Exactly.
It's a whole, not that they're 100% accurate, but there is a statute of limitations for this type of thing that doesn't really seem to apply anymore.
Not no more, it ain't.
Yeah.
You got Bill Cosby in jail.
Well, Bill Cosby got 3 to 10.
He shouldn't have got nothing.
And Harvey Weinstein got essentially 8 times the sentence that Bill Cosby got.
I really didn't read into why or how far he went, the extent of where he went with these women, but it's just been so long ago, and then now they bringing this shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's statute of limitations, I feel like, just is not enforced the way it should be.
Everything has changed.
I mean, I remember I got an email from this one image service, and they were like, "Oh, you have these images on your website, and you owe us this many, it was like $2,000 for using these images." And I'm like, this post is from 9 years ago. Statute of limitations for copyright infringement is 3 years. They're like, "Oh no, it's 3 years from the moment it was discovered." And since it was just discovered, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I just had my lawyer fire off an email to them, like, get the fuck out of here. Like to say 3 years from discovered means that there's no statute of limitations.
Everything
it's
is
just
money.
ridiculous.
It is.
Like, I'm not going to pay that shit. They can go fuck themselves.
About money.
Yeah, I'm not going to. It was 9 years ago. Like, this damn article hasn't gotten any traffic probably in 8 years.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to get a check out of me by trying to change the laws on me, but by the wording of the laws. Like,
that ain't nothing new. Just like with these people, if you make a name for yourself and you make it and you got money, you're gonna have somebody come after you. Like with R. Kelly, don't want to speak on him though. Like with Bill Cosby, all of these people come and it just say like Michael Jackson, he was so easy to pay people off. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So some of these women come in thinking that they're gonna get the payoff, they're going about their business. You got men like this say, I'm not paying shit, I ain't guilty. Because they under the illusion that they don't have nothing. That's 20 years ago. So let's fight this shit.
Then they go to prison.
Yeah. Now, but that 12 people in the box is saying something happened. Something had to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy how people think, and people got like fucked up. But it's up to me to be a certain kind of way because I got money now. You know what I'm saying? I'm a target for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, Rick James's estate is being sued by a woman for an alleged rape that happened 40 years ago. Rick James has been dead for 10 years.
They should have told her to go about her fucking business.
Not to say, look, I'm not saying it didn't happen because, listen, Rick James went to prison for rape, right? I don't know if you know this whole story, but he had basically held this woman hostage and raped her and forced her to smoke crack and whatever else. I'm not saying Rick is the Dalai Lama
right,
or anything,
right.
But 40 years ago, how do you even remotely...
Tell you, though?
what does that remotely tell you? You're suing. Okay, so you want justice,
Right.
okay? Which means, well, he's already dead. Can't dig him up and do nothing to him. You're filing a civil suit, which means that you want money. So the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to take the money out of his family's pockets. That's the only thing that you're going to accomplish
And
by
she
this.
ain't worried about that. But how can she win on that? But that's what everybody do. If I don't get him this way, I'm gonna get him that way. O.J. Simpson win the trial, but then at the end of the day, he loses the civil suit and he got to pay all this money.
Which he never had to actually pay.
But that's double standard though. If I got found not guilty, I'm not guilty of anything. All charges, not guilty. Why do I got to go over here and defend my money?
Right, and it actually works sort of against you as well, because if you get found guilty, the civil suit is automatic. You don't even have to go to trial for the civil suit because you got found guilty in something that's harder to prove, because a criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
Whereas a civil suit is more likely than not. That means if you feel you're 51%, if the jury feels that you're 51% lying, then you're guilty. And you're 49, even though they feel that 49% of the things you're saying is actually true. It's a very dicey matter. And the way the courts are set up, and listen, here's what I feel at the end of the day. Because just because America functions on this level does not mean this happens all across the world. I remember at one point, I had this company in the UK that owed me money for a bunch of video footage that I never got paid for. So I called some lawyers in the UK and I said, hey, I want to sue this company. And they said, okay, before you go forward with this, we want to explain how different it works over here.
Right.
In the US, you get a lawyer to represent you, and that lawyer will do it for free. And they will take between 30 and 40% of your winnings from the case. Okay? So you have all these people who don't have any money that could get a lawyer to say, okay, cool, I'll take it on contingency, and then they can go and do whatever. It can go all the way, to the actual courtroom, and they don't have to pay a penny,
right,
win or lose. It's all free for them. In the UK, they say, look, we don't have that over here. If you want to sue somebody, you're going to have to pay the lawyer. That's just the way it works, period.
Right.
So that gets rid of all the people who have these bullshit lawsuits that they don't want to, that they know is bullshit, and they're not going to invest their own money into this bullshit.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
But at the end of the day, when you look at who runs the government, damn near all the people were lawyers at some point. Most of the congressmen, the senators, a lot of the presidents. Doesn't Obama have a law degree? The lawyers are really the ones that are running this country. They want to keep it going because win or lose, the lawyers almost always win.
Win or lose, everybody in Congress and whomever else, Democrats, Republicans, they all win. I don't bite into the politic bullshit, never followed it, I don't know jack shit when it comes to that. And somebody had made a comment talking about, I don't know. I don't speak on shit I don't know about. I don't care what President Trump and them doing. If they allow this one man to make multiple mistakes like he does, and they can't get rid of him, we got a problem. We all got a problem. Now they feeling the effects of his bullshit. Don't come back and say nothing. Me in my neighborhood or any other neighborhood can't go and do shit. The only thing they can say you can do is vote. I've been out of prison since 1988, and the motherfuckers told me I still can't vote. Why the hell is that? Why do they say they rehabilitated me? I've been out of prison since 1988. I think you did a good goddamn job with me.
Right, you never went back.
I ain't never went back to prison. Mm-hmm. So why is it that I still can't vote?
Well, Oakland is the first city in California. I don't know if it's nationwide, but in California, it's the first city that actually prohibits landlords for checking the criminal records of potential tenants.
That's good.
I agree.
That's good.
I agree, because as a convicted felon, you can't get an apartment.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. As a convicted felon, that tells you ain't even got 90 days to be a unarmed security guard. I'd have been a security guard so many goddamn times. It's pathetic. For that 90 days, you got to go. Even if you tell them, you can't work, you can't live. Yeah. After prison is hard.
Yeah, it becomes, I think Trady said this, it becomes forever punishment, basically.
It is.
Where, I don't know, like from the outside looking in, I've been locked up here or there, but I've never done real jail time or real prison time. But the whole point is, if you paid your debt to society by sitting in a cage for however many years they sentenced you to, when you get out, you should be able to start your life back up. But when you get out, if you cannot get an apartment, you can't get a decent job, you can't do a bunch of other basic things that another citizen can do, what do you think is going to happen with that person?
They're going right back to the same shit.
They're going to go back to doing illegal activity once again. Why would you want this in your society? Why would you want a bunch of people that get out, can't find a place to live, and start robbing people in order to support themselves?
It keeps the system going the way they want it to. You ain't shit once you get out of prison. You got to really, if you don't have no support when you come home and you don't have those people helping you, or I'm talking about financially, got a place to go lay your head on a daily. I had a good baby mama, a good woman when I came out of prison. Suge Knight helped me when I got out of prison. If not that, I'd have been fucking with the homies that came with the dope sack and went right back to doing what I'm doing, because you ain't finna get it out here, not after prison. So it's just like that dog tag, it's not gonna never go away.
Yeah, and I think that you end up sort of destroying the spirit of men who come out, because what usually happens when a man gets out of prison and they need a place to live? They go live with a woman.
Yeah.
Right? Now, a lot of times this is a woman who's unattractive.
Right.
Not to say every time, but a lot of times when you need a woman and you need a place to stay, you're not going to get the working professional, no kids, I got it together woman. Most times you don't get a...
Not true. You know, in prison, you accept what you get. You get pen pals. She might be 300 pounds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times, so you come out and you basically settle for whatever you could get for a roof over your head.
Right.
A 300-pound woman, a woman with a bunch of kids, a woman who has low self-esteem and so forth. And you demean the man by having to be in, and at the end, and now the woman's the head of the household.
But that's her fault.
She pays the bills.
It's her fault.
Well, I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. I'm talking about just the situation as it is. You're now living in a house where you're supposed to be the man of the house, but the house isn't in your name.
Right.
You're either doing something illegal or you have a low-paying job. So the woman is paying most of the bills. You're no longer the man. You're almost taking the subservient role, because
when you lose,
you get into one fight. Get the fuck out of my house. Right. Get the fuck out of my house. I could call the police and have you leave because the lease is in my name. We don't have a joint lease. Right. You're not on this shit. I am. Right. You're just staying here because I'm allowing you to do that. And that sets up such an inequality that a man's going to have to just take it. And what does that do to a man's spirit year after year?
It breaks you down.
Yeah.
It breaks you down. Your choices is just like really limited.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I do the man shit and she get mad, I got to keep her happy to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's all bad because we got to go through the shit. And then we got to go back, hit the streets to my daughter's mother, for instance. I'm living with her. We partying every week. We having these parties at my house. She don't want me to pay shit. She paying the rent, paying the bills. But I'm there. Here, I got the rent. I got the money for what you want from the party. No, keep that. Once you get used to it, then don't ask me to pay no light or gas bill. At the end of the day, if you lose your job, don't come at me. You've been doing the shit. Figure a way out. Now you already know you got to get ready to move and do all this other shit. Some women want that shit just to have a man in their fucking house. You know, opposed to say 50-50, whatever the case might be. Some women bringing men in their motherfucking house and got 4 kids, don't know jack shit about this man. It's just the way we have learned to live.
Yeah.
We're accustomed to this shit.
It's not a good way to live.
No, but we don't have choices. We really don't have the choices. We got to go from here and try to figure out shit. Yeah. We got to maneuver through the hood. And me personally, gangbanging, dealing with this woman, running from the police, and all that other shit, it's you really on a I don't give a fuck basis. You know what I'm saying? And the average cat ain't finna get it. You just get more reckless as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we wind up in prison. Now, you're doing all this time in prison and then come home. We still got homeboys in prison. We was talking about it on the way here. Been in there 33 years.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if they let him out today. He have no motherfucking clue of what he see here. Or how to do it. So what's gonna happen? He go right back to prison.
Right. Prison rules don't apply here. You can't punch someone in the face because they cut in line.
Well,
you'll go right back to prison again.
And people know that. You know what I'm saying? But you're no good in a sense to nobody unless you come home already with a foundation. Somebody that's gonna help you. If you ain't got that, if you ain't got a support system, you pretty much
right. But then you come home and they say that you can't be around anyone who's gang related, and that's your whole family, your whole neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you run into this situation because the guy who got shot along with Nipsey Hussle, that was his situation. They try to violate him. Big U. We did an interview with him and Kerry. I forgot his last name, but Kerry and Big U got on the phone with me. Right. I recorded it and put it out, where he just talked about like they were trying to send him back in jail, back in prison, for getting shot because they were saying he was affiliating himself with gang members.
It was more shit to that. I truly believe this is my theory. They locked his ass up because he wouldn't say what he saw or what happened, and that's how they use each other. Play the cards against each other and shit like that. Yeah, they just played the game, man. And
eventually he ended up not having to do any more prison time.
Right.
He got out. I mean, we put a lot of attention on this. We actually set up we didn't set up, but we pointed to a GoFundMe page where he was like, I don't know how much was it, 20 or 30,000 got raised, which he got to keep for himself. And, ultimately all the attention, all the negative attention that we brought to this messed up situation.
He got to keep the money?
Yeah.
I need somebody to go fund me.
Well, he got shot and he was in a wheelchair.
Right.
Like he was really fucked up.
So that really helped.
Yeah, he was. They handcuffed him to like a fucking in a cell, and he couldn't even get medicine or whatever else. Like he was really fucked up after doing like I don't know. He just got out for doing a murder. He was in prison for like 30 years. He was just in a fucked up situation, and he was just there to get like a free sweatshirt or something from Nipsey. Like he wasn't like he didn't even know him like that. Like he just thought, they passed by, they saw Nipsey hanging out. They didn't know that a shooting was about to kick off. Apparently the trial was supposed to happen pretty soon for Shitty Cuz, but I guess that's put on hold right now.
You know what? I don't even follow that. I say it was a fucked up thing that happened. I'd say, we all lived the same shit that went through right there. Homies against homies, all that other shit. Speaking on that shit, I mean, whatever happened to that guy is going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
So, but that's some everyday shit.
How are the prisons these days? Because I guess they're letting certain people out early.
Yeah.
They're not arresting certain people. I guess they're not really allowing lawyers
to even
speak with their clients.
Yeah, that 6 feet shit. Some of them talk through the glass anyway. You know, I ain't been to jail. I've been out of prison since 88. I ain't been to jail since 92, the riots. And fighting the case that I had in 92, 8 months, came home. Ain't seen a jailhouse since. So I don't know how the hell they running that shit, but that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, Tekashi tried to get early release because of coronavirus. I guess he has asthma, and they tried to petition, and we actually broke the story that they rejected that.
But why he want that? He only got 2 goddamn years.
Man, he wanted 0 years. What are you talking about? He wasn't built for that shit.
He don't have a choice. He put himself in a position. Then he handled his business in a certain kind of way. They got him 2 years. And that's why I say the courts is fucked up. How do you do the same fucking crimes that I do and you only get 2 years? Because you ran your fucking mouth. Regardless if you talk or not, you was right here when I, just say for instance, killed this motherfucker. How do I get 30 years and you get 2 years? Just because you said, I'll tell y'all how we did it?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you, did you see that series on Netflix, The Tiger King?
No.
You didn't watch that?
No.
Very interesting story if you have some free time.
Yeah.
Which a lot of us have right now. You should watch it. It was a very interesting story, but essentially the way it ended was that he got sentenced to 22 years because this one guy that worked for him claimed that he paid him $3,000 to go kill this lady who was like a big competitor to him that was trying to shut him down. $3,000 to do a murder across country. Like the whole thing was fairly ridiculous sounding when you really say it out loud.
Right.
But this guy, basically, they was tapping his phone and he agreed to testify against him. So yeah, he paid me $3,000 to do it, but he didn't do it. He just took the money and went partied with it. And he got 22 years. Whereas in the Tekashi situation, he paid you see him on camera telling, yeah, I give you like $10,000 to go shoot at Chief Keef. This guy went there, shot at them or shot in the air or something. The guy who did the shooting got, I think, 5 years. And Tekashi walked away with 2 years with time served. How do you get 2 years for putting a hit on someone where a shooting occurred, whereas another guy got 22 years to put a hit on someone where nothing happened?
Exactly.
Like
the system is set up to basically, if I really want you that bad, we're gonna find a way to get you. I'll give you lesser time if you help me get them.
Yep.
That's all it is. And 9 times out of 10, that person bites into it and it happened. Which they should cut that shit out. If I'm your crimey, I should get the same time. You know what I'm saying? It don't happen that way. Let me turn against this motherfucker. I want to walk. I don't want to. Some motherfuckers ain't built for jail.
Yeah.
So not knowing what it's like and what they coming up against, a lot of motherfuckers flip, and I'm not going in there. And they don't go.
Oh, yeah. No, I interviewed this guy, Kevin Childs. He was one of the big Harlem drug kingpins.
Uh-huh.
And he said how 22 people, I think, got arrested with him. And nobody said nothing. One guy went on the run and didn't get caught for like 6 months. And they said as soon as they put the handcuffs on that one guy, he cooperated on everything.
Everybody.
On everybody.
That's all it
and
takes.
He and this guy ended up doing, I think, 18 years or something like that. Everyone gets arrested except for Charles Allen Brown.
Right.
Who goes on the run.
Right.
And that lasts for a good 6 months.
Right.
And then he gets caught.
Right.
And what happens as soon as they put the handcuffs on?
He gets to talking to the traffic agents. Then, that's what they was equivalent to. Just local officers in Raleigh, North Carolina, not the feds, just the people who he had a warrant. They caught him, and I'm not making this up for the sake of trying to humiliate the person. This is a fact. In my discovery, it states that as soon as he got caught, local law enforcement, he was talking with them.
Because one guy talked. He said, had this one guy not talked, he probably could have walked away or just gotten a very low sentence. And I think China Mac, one of our regular guests, said the same thing about Tekashi. They said had there been no Tekashi in that trial, someone that was willing to tell everything about everybody, all these guys, because like the breakdown is crazy. Shoddy 15 years, this other guy 20 years, this guy 8 years, 13. Like he said that most of those guys, they probably would have gotten caught for something, but you could probably, shave off 75% of everyone's time. And this guy may have, Tekashi would have gotten, instead of 2, he might have done 4.
Well, you got to look at it. If you're living reckless, then you got to be ready to deal with anything.
Yeah.
The consequences of how you living. To bring that young dude in there, knowing he ain't from the hood, knowing he don't have no history, but you bringing him in there because of the money. We greedy. The money got me doing this and got me doing that. We accept you. Only because of the money. But at the end of the day, and this happens with every rapper that ever had money that came in the hood, and it gets bad. Death row, the whole 9. Everybody's going to wind up somewhere. Back in the hood, in prison, or dead. That's all you get out of this shit. And with this Tekashi, same situation as the death row shit.
Yeah.
Suge Knight doing 28 years. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that worked for death row is back in the hood, or dead, or doing time in prison.
How are the prisons these days? Because I guess they're letting certain people out early.
Yeah.
They're not arresting certain people. I guess they're not really allowing lawyers
to even
speak with their clients.
Yeah, that's 6 feet shit. Some of them talk through the glass anyway. I ain't been to jail. I've been out of prison since 88. I ain't been to jail since 92, the riots. And fighting the case that I had in 92, 8 months, came home. Ain't seen a jailhouse since. So I don't know how the hell they running that shit, but that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, Tekashi tried to get early release because of coronavirus. I guess he has asthma, and they tried to petition, and we actually broke the story that they rejected that.
But why he want that? He only got 2 goddamn years.
Man, he wanted 0 years. What are you talking about? He wasn't built for that shit.
He don't have a choice. He put himself in a position. Then he handled his business in a certain kind of way. They got him 2 years. And that's why I say the courts is fucked up. How do you do the same fucking crimes that I do and you only get 2 years? Because you ran your fucking mouth. Regardless if you talk or not, you was right here when I, just say for instance, killed this motherfucker. How do I get 30 years and you get 2 years? Just because you said, I'll tell y'all how we did it?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you, did you see that series on Netflix, The Tiger King?
No.
You didn't watch that?
No.
Very interesting story if you have some free time.
Yeah,
which a lot of us have right now. You should watch it. It was a very interesting story, but essentially the way it ended was that he got sentenced to 22 years because this one guy that worked for him claimed that he paid him $3,000 to go kill this lady who was like a big competitor to him that was trying to shut him down. $3,000 to do a murder across country. And like the whole thing was fairly ridiculous sounding when you really say it out loud.
Right.
But this guy, basically, they was tapping his phone and he agreed to testify against him. So yeah, he paid me $3,000 to do it. But he didn't do it. He just took the money and partied with it.
and he got 22 years. Whereas in the Tekashi situation, you see him on camera telling, yeah, I give you like $10,000 to go shoot at Chief Keef. This guy went there, shot at them, or shot in the air or something. The guy who did the shooting got, I think, 5 years, and Tekashi walked away with 2 years with time served. How do you get 2 years for putting a hit on someone where a shooting occurred, whereas another guy got 22 years to put a hit on someone where nothing happened?
Exactly.
Like,
the system is set up to basically, if I really want you that bad, we're gonna find a way to get you. I'll give you lesser time if you help me get them.
Yep.
That's all it is. And 9 times out of 10, that person bites into it, and it happened. Which they should cut that shit out. If I'm your crimey, I should get the same time. You know what I'm saying? It don't happen that way. Let me turn against this motherfucker. I want to walk. I don't want to. Some motherfuckers ain't built for jail.
Yeah.
So not knowing what it's like and what they coming up against, a lot of motherfuckers flip, and I'm not going in there. And they don't go.
Oh, yeah. No, I interviewed this guy, Kevin Childs. He was one of the big Harlem drug kingpins.
Uh-huh.
And he said how 22 people, I think, got arrested with him. And nobody said nothing. One guy went on the run and didn't get caught for like 6 months. And they said as soon as they put the handcuffs on that one guy, he cooperated on everything.
Everybody.
On everybody.
That's all it
and
takes.
He and this guy ended up doing, I think, 18 years or something like that. Everyone gets arrested except for Charles Allen Brown.
Right.
Who goes on the run.
Right.
And that lasts for a good 6 months.
Right.
And then he gets caught.
Right.
And what happens as soon as they put the handcuffs on?
He gets to talking to the traffic agents. Damn near. You know, that's what they was equivalent to. Just local officers in Raleigh, North Carolina, not the feds, just the people who he had a warrant. They caught him, and I'm not making this up for the sake of trying to humiliate the person. This is a fact. In my discovery, it states that as soon as he got caught, local law enforcement, he was talking with them.
Because one guy talked. He said, had this one guy not talked, he probably could have walked away or just gotten a very low sentence. And you know, I think China Mac, one of our regular guests, said the same thing about Tekashi. They said had there been no Tekashi in that trial, someone that was willing to tell everything about everybody, all these guys, because like the breakdown is crazy. Shoddy 15 years, this other guy 20 years, this guy 8 years, 13. Like he said that most of those guys, they probably would have gotten caught for something, but you could probably, you know, shave off 75% of everyone's time. And this guy may have, you know, Tekashi would have gotten, instead of 2, he might have done 4.
Well, you got to look at it. If you're living reckless, then you got to be ready to deal with anything. Yeah. The consequences of how you living. To bring that young dude in there, knowing he ain't from the hood, knowing he don't have no history, but you bringing him in there because of the money. We greedy. The money got me doing this and got me doing that. We accept you. Only because of the money. But at the end of the day, and this happens with every rapper that ever had money that came in the hood, and it gets bad. Death row, the whole 9. Everybody's going to wind up somewhere. Back in the hood, in prison, or dead. That's all you get out of this shit. And with this Tekashi, same situation is the death row shit. Yeah. Suge Knight doing 28 years. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that worked for death row is back in the hood, or dead, or doing time in prison.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic because when Tekashi was popping, and you know, Shoddy was like his right-hand man, the guy who, you know, was the 9 Trey guy who owned the label or whatever. Whenever he got on Instagram, he would say the same thing. We're the new death row. They kept saying that, oh, new death row. Yeah, you know, Treyway, the new death row.
What do they see now?
And they ended up like the old death row.
Exactly.
Everyone in prison.
everybody that goes through this situation, the outcome is the same.
Yeah.
The outcome is the same.
They weren't calling themselves the new Motown. You never heard TDE call themselves the new Death Row?
You don't even have to do that. Sooner or later, if like with Suge, we don't have to, or you don't have to be out in front like that. That's what you got these guys up here every day for.
Mm-hmm.
But some people believe that, man, I want to be this gangster. Everybody want to be this gangster. That they want to fit in with the motherfuckers that they fucking with. So I want to be a part of that. So you transform into what you want to be. Now you can. And some of them love it, but don't know how to handle the power. That's a lot of power. And when I say power, being able to tell reckless niggas what to do, being able to say, beat that motherfucker ass, and just like that, it happens. It's like, whoa. Or motherfuckers is beating up people that's looking at me in a fucked up way. I ain't got no choice but to walk with my chest out.
Yeah, no, listen, I had a situation when VladTV first started popping, the people I started running with were, ex-jail guys, and so forth. And I remember we got into a situation where I ran into some dudes who had talked a bunch of shit about me. And I told my man, like, you ready? And he's like, yeah. And we ran up on these dudes, and nothing happened to him, but my man really, scared him. And was ready to do something.
Everybody
and I remember the fallout from that, because I still have problems with certain people, from that situation to this day.
Right.
And I remember walking away going like, wow, like I'm an idiot. Like I that could have escalated. Like I almost had to stop it from escalating, but that could have escalated so quickly where these two guys who are very scary guys, very like timid, like nerdy guys, were about to get beat up by this one dude who was with it.
Right.
And I would have gotten sued. He would have went to jail, and I would have had to bail him out. And then God knows how this could have even escalated after that. And it's all because I got the power to have these tough guys go do some shit. And I was like, yo, I'm such an idiot. And this happened like 10 years ago. And ever since that day, and like the guys who were with me are still my close friends.
Right.
But I said, moving forward, we're never doing this ever, ever again.
So if you have a situation, how would you approach that situation? Sometimes you got to. It might be a month, 6 months, a year from now that somebody gonna come up to you and say, bam, you at that point you don't have a choice.
Yeah, but they had talked a bunch of shit about me on the internet, and I became the aggressor at that point. You see what I'm saying? I could have just said, fuck those guys.
Right.
Or I could just approach them myself and just
when you saw them, you was like,
yeah, I was like, yeah, let's go get them. Because I was so angry over what they did. And I even made them, we even made them record a video apologizing. Like, you see what I'm saying? Which I never put out. And it's just like me being a dummy. In retrospect, it's just me trying to be a Suge type character of like pushing my weight around with all these dudes like who are ready to do whatever for me because I'm the one with the money. I'm the one with the platform. I'm the one that they're looking, to benefit from.
Right.
And they're my friends, so they're willing to do it and whatever else. And I'm like, shit, I could have sent my man back to jail. Like, and he's got kids and all that. And I'm just like, yo, like I felt so stupid afterwards for doing that it never happened again.
For number one, if I work for you, I know what my position is. I know my place. If this is what we're doing, that's what we're doing. He already knew what he was there for.
Yeah.
As soon as if you say, get him, and he say, I'm not going to prison for you, then that's his decision. It don't happen.
Yeah.
But you say, get him, he go get him. He already know the repercussions of that.
I understand.
But you got people that talk, Vlad,
yeah.
and I'm learning just because you running your mouth don't mean I have to come get you. It'd be a whole lot of motherfuckers dead if I felt like, oh, you talking? If you can't say what you saying or you on this platform or that platform talking shit, that don't mean shit. It don't matter. I can respond back to it or leave the shit alone. Which being in that position, like I'm understanding this shit now. Like what you in, I'm going through that shit. Motherfuckers want to talk shit, motherfuckers want to say this. But you are my friend in person when you see me. I don't think we should be like that. If you feel a certain kind of way about me, say what you have to say today.
Yeah.
Don't wait and leave and then go bam and be like this and then be on some kind of recording talking shit. I can respond to that shit, but wait till I see you.
Yeah. One of the most disturbing things that we actually posted recently was, I believe the New York Times did a video about what's happening right now in the New York City housing projects, where they basically described them as a ticking time bomb. The New York housing projects, I believe like 500,000 people live in it. It's the biggest housing project, it's the biggest housing project in any urban area in the country. And usually there's only one working elevator where everyone crams into this one elevator. Nothing is really cleaned. Nothing is washed.
Right.
It's a very, very bad situation right now that I think that once it hits, because people don't, government doesn't care about housing projects. They don't care about poor people like that.
Right.
They're going to go overboard in the rich areas, but in the poor areas, they're just going to do the bare minimum. These people don't pay taxes like that.
Right.
And you're going to see some crazy shit start to happen if this thing starts to get worse.
I mean, it shouldn't have to get worse, but is that where they want it to go? I mean, sometimes they want the chaos. Now, just say, for instance, this $2.2 trillion stimulus bullshit. Is we really gonna see that money?
Well,
what's $1,200?
It's $1,200.
Bullshit.
Plus $500 for each child under 16.
Man, come on, man.
What's interesting about this one also, because we're going through some of the details of it. People who owe child support are not eligible, which I agree with.
That old child support?
That old child support.
I can understand that. I mean, you got some motherfuckers out there that should pay their child support, but
if you haven't paid child support, you should not be getting a free check.
Well, why are they giving it to people that's on the county that get food stamps and shit like that?
Well, I think they are.
They get $1,200 and then
that's it.
They get the money for the kids too.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think that's fair?
I ain't gonna say that because if people hear me say I don't think people should get it, it's gonna be another problem.
Well, if you're on the county, that means you're not working, right?
You don't have nothing. Yeah, you ain't working already. I think the people that's losing their jobs, that's homeowners, that's really out there in life should be the ones to get it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people that make over $75,000 don't get anything, and I'm perfectly for that. I think it should even be less than that, because someone like myself does not need $1,200. I'd rather that money go to someone who actually needs it. So if
they send you a check, you gonna tell them I don't want it? You'll send it back?
I will figure out a way to take that money and give it back, and give it back to people,
and go downtown and get these people some blankets. That's what I do.
I mean, listen. I counted the other day. I support 12 people myself. This company right here makes sure that 12 people have a roof over their head, have health insurance.
Right.
All my staff has health.
That's the people that work for you.
That work for me.
Okay.
Everyone who works for me has paid health insurance that we pay for ourselves out of our pockets so they can go to the doctor for free.
That's all good.
Yeah.
What about helping people that that really... When I drive up the street, especially if I go downtown LA, I see people that really need it.
Yeah.
And giving them $1, giving them $2, that's not going to help them buy nothing.
No.
Not with what it costs here.
No.
So I'm giving up 10, 15, maybe a dub. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely, wherever, if I'm getting food or any other services, I've been over tipping a lot everywhere I go because I'm okay right now.
Yeah.
And these people that are essentially risking their lives to provide this essential service like food.
Exactly.
Who are having these, like when I stopped on the way here to get my Snapple, how much for the Snapple? $2. Here's 10.
Well, they definitely need the credit. Yeah. Truck drivers. They out there delivering these supplies back and forth everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, give them credit. But people ain't doing that. That's who the money should go to.
Yeah. I mean, $1,200 applies to a funky ass $1,200.
$1,200 ain't gonna do shit.
Ain't gonna do nothing.
But nobody out there that's having a hard time.
And you're gonna see some interesting things happen with rent, because now if people who aren't working, they're not gonna be able to pay rent. And now you can't evict somebody now. Like they put a moratorium on evictions.
Yeah, that's a good thing right there.
It's a good thing right there, right? But then it's not rent forgiveness, right? They're saying, hey, we're not going to evict you during these, let's say, 3 months, but you kind of still owe us this back rent. We're not just going to say this.
Oh, no, that's bullshit.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
So they're going to expect that back. But these people didn't work during that time, so how could they come up with their money? The whole thing
behind.
Is right. The whole thing is fucked up. And listen, nobody wants to feel sorry for someone who has a certain amount of money, but all these landlords have mortgages, right? So suddenly, if you have a 100-unit apartment building, and a third of the people stop paying rent, how are you going to pay your mortgage? You see, it's
you're
very
looking
much,
at that a different way.
It's a domino effect for everybody. Everybody gets fucked up in the process.
Okay, look at it like this, and I say this: if I've been on my job for 5 years and then I can't go to work now because of this, you should have money put away for hard times.
Correct.
If you don't have money, especially these greedy people that got all of these units and making so much money a month. They only dishing out so little to pay the shit that they paying. They got money.
Mm-hmm.
They got money. So when you fall on hard times, it should be understandable. But it's not like that here. People are so goddamn greedy, they want their money. Knowing that you sitting here paying rent today, $2,500, $1,800. It's $1,300 for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
If I can't go to work, I can't pay that.
Right.
But you're ready to put me in the streets. You ready for don't nobody care about nobody. This is the problem in the United States today. Don't nobody give a fuck. So why should other people give a fuck?
Yeah.
The rich motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's but not everyone that owns a home is rich. Some people.
No, I didn't say that.
Some people who own these properties, these fourplexes and duplexes or whatever else, they're counting on that rent money to cover the mortgage and pay their own bills.
Right.
Some people live in a duplex and, the person who lives in the same building as them, allows them, that's their job essentially. Like their job is to collect the rent, they pay off the mortgage, and they have a little bit of extra for themselves. Right. When that's gone, you're going to see a domino effect that you haven't seen before. Hopefully this has worked out, and we'll go ahead and just end the talk about this. But we're in a situation that no living person on Earth has ever gone through before.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, and I hope it works out. But at the end of the day, man, I trust in humans. I trust that human beings will eventually figure it out. We've had the Black Plague, the bubonic plague, we've had the Spanish flu, there's been SARS, there's been swine flu, there's been the bird flu, there's been H1N1, there's been a lot of stuff that's tried to wipe us out before, and we've always found a way to figure it out.
Yeah, they definitely ain't gonna wipe us out.
It ain't gonna wipe us out.
It's causing problems.
Yep. Well, since our last interview, Reggie Wright Jr., I guess said some things about you that weren't very flattering, and about me as well. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm less bothered by it than I believe you were initially.
I was really bothered by it.
Yeah. So before we get to that point, you and Reggie go back how many years?
Oh man, the late 70s. We moved over there in 73. When we moved over in Compton in 73, his auntie lived next door, and his grandma and grandpa, them lived the house on the corner. Mm. So 74, 75, we were still young. I've been knowing Reggie since Elementary, when and he only a few years younger than me. Yeah, the 70s, mid 70s.
And you actually were the one that drove him to prison.
Yeah.
To start a sentence.
Right.
Which is not down the street.
No, it was past Fresno, California.
Way down.
Yeah.
Or way up, I guess.
Way up.
Way up. And I kind of went through the story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently part of his problem, I guess he had a few different issues. One of them was that, well, Reggie was the one that linked you and I up.
Right.
Right?
Right.
After I did my interview with Reggie, I asked him, hey, is there anyone else that you know that we should interview? And he said, Mob James.
Right.
I was not familiar with that name. I went online. I saw the Greg Kading interview. I said, oh, I think this would be a good interview. I called you up. Now you're a regular guest on the show.
Right.
And I guess he felt that you were kind of giving me credit. You were giving white folks credit, but not giving black people credit. Giving him the credit for actually linking us up.
Exactly. Well, let me say this. I gave credit where credit is due. After doing the Vlad interview, and Reggie understood this, we done talked about it many times, when he told me, I want you to talk to Vlad, and man, that is a good interview, yada, yada. I told him, first of all, no.
Okay, so initially you said no.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't want to, after Greg Kading's, I didn't want to do no more. I didn't want to, I fucked up and started listening to the comments. I didn't like some of the comments in that. And calling me a crybaby, I was pissed the fuck off. So I said, fuck doing interviews. I ain't doing this no more. So Here come Reggie asking me to do an interview. Man, that'll be a good thing for you on Vlad. No. He get at me again. Now at this time, we moving the shit out of my mother's house. So I said, okay, that's when I talked to you. He said, bam. So after doing that, I think Reggie felt...
And you ended up crying in my interview also.
Yeah.
So there goes the crybaby stuff all over again.
It's just, you know, certain things are so passionate to me.
I understand.
But, you know, talking to, you know, Reggie feel like all the credit is him. I explained to Reggie, every time I talk to you, I let you know I appreciate you. This street shit. It ain't nothing about, it don't have nothing to do with Vlad. It don't have nothing to do with Greg Kading. It don't have nothing to do with white people. I mean, you came across to me and we've been good ever since. Mm-hmm. I have no reason to disrespect Vlad because he never disrespected me.
Mm-hmm.
When Vlad came on Gangsta Chronicles, I mean, he did us a favor. So I appreciate him. You know what I'm saying? Reggie felt that, or feel like his name, or I'm giving white people credit and not giving it to the brothers. I'm black every motherfucking day I wake up. You know what I'm saying? And I know what side of the fence I'm on. So, I mean, he shouldn't have said that. I was offended by it.
And to be fair, like, and I'm cool with Reggie.
Right.
He's been on my show twice.
Right.
I have nothing but good things to say about him, both publicly and privately.
Right.
I appreciate him introducing you to me.
Exactly.
But how long can you take credit for an introduction? You know, just at the end of the day, it's not like every time you come here, we're working through Reggie and Reggie's convincing you to come and he's doing all this work. Like, he introduced us, you and I built our own relationship. We're going off this. Like, you know, look, like, for example, Godfrey comes on my show and he gets a bunch of bookings because of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a piece of that. I don't want him to keep mentioning that. That's cool.
Right.
He ran with that. Lord Jamar, he's been on my show longer than anybody. Brand Nubian gets booked way more because of that. That's great. Like, I don't expect them to keep mentioning all the stuff that happens to them because of a situation that I was involved with over and over again. Look, I appreciate the introduction. Reggie's welcome on my show when he gets out of prison. But I guess this whole thing is a little baffling to me.
Well, I think everybody want to feel a part of something. But why keep talking about Reggie is my boy. I wouldn't be here right now if Reggie wouldn't have introduced me to you. I think it stops right here with my conversation with Reggie because I don't want to say shit and then people get a lot of shit twisted.
All the time.
And like I told him on the phone, and I can say this, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate you. We partners. We good. We shouldn't even have to be at this point. We shouldn't even be here. So we're going to leave it alone. We both good. We ain't got to go through this shit no more. I don't think I should have to keep mentioning a certain individual name to be relevant. It's over a year ago. So we don't have to, just like pretty much what you just saying. So me and Reggie in a cool place. He understands. And I don't think you had to attack me just because you feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
The other part was, my statement about reparations. And he felt that you let me slide.
How did I let you slide off of it, though?
Yeah.
If I really don't, the reparation thing, it really don't matter to me because the shit is not gonna happen. I'm irrelevant. They not gonna give it to me.
Yeah. And look, and I'll repeat what I said.
No, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me clarify this. After we did the interview with Yuck Mouth and them, when you said what you had said, what they had told me you said, I was offended. Like, why would Vlad say some shit like that? Yada yada. I mean, I think that's only something black people should speak on. Then having a conversation with you, okay, now I get it. Okay, Vlad done something with it. Okay, what's the issue?
Yeah. And I said I support reparations for African Americans living in this country, possibly in the form of a free education. Once again, it's the word possibly. The word possibly means the word possibly.
But
I've never said, and I don't think they should get money, and I don't think they should get land. I said here's a suggestion. Y'all could either take it or not. A lot of people got offended by it. I don't give a shit. I understand what an education has given me, and it was more than $100,000 check.
Right.
I have made millions because of my education.
Right.
And everyone I know who has an education has made way more than $100,000 because of their education.
Right.
And I personally, now some people don't believe in college, don't believe in universities, and that's fine. But anyone who actually went through the educational system usually agrees with me because they understand what having an education on your resume gets you.
Right.
As someone who's an employer, I look at the education first, especially when it comes to people who are, relatively young. I look at where they went to school, what their GPA was and so forth. Now, if you're a little older, I look more at the experience, but I still look at the education. So with everything that's happening and people in debt and so forth, like that's what part of the thing of that whole $2 trillion bailout was that you don't have to pay back your school loans right now. That was a key part of that, which kind of goes in line with what I was saying the whole time, right? Because people's school loans end up killing them. Right. They end up getting out of school and they're $200,000 in debt.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So this kind of goes along like this bailout really co-signs what I was saying about reparations, about a free education.
You're not the only person that says this. Now, my whole thing with that, the average young black motherfucker get $100,000. What do you think he gonna do with it? I don't want you to answer because people gonna get offended.
Yeah.
But what he gonna do with it, it might not last a year. That money might not last a year. Give me that check. I'm gonna cash that motherfucker, but I'm gonna go buy this, and this, and this. We're not thinking about where this 100,000 and how long this 100,000 should last for us.
Right.
So I'm gonna speak personally, my opinion, so people won't say all black people don't think like that. No, we don't. But the average black motherfucker that get that type of money that's on my level, it's gonna fuck that money off.
Well, any person, the thing, like for example, if you read the book The Richest Man in Babylon,
yeah,
like me and Freeway Ricky, who's a regular guest, you know,
Right.
he said that was his favorite book ever. He's read it like 25 times. And a big section of that book goes into about how you need to learn how to keep managing bigger and bigger amounts of money.
Right.
You know, you give someone, if someone has $1,000 in their bank account and you suddenly give them 100,000, they're not going to know what to do with that. They're going to buy a bunch of shit, not thinking about that. Now, if someone has 80,000 in their bank account and you give them 100,000, they know what to do. They know how to keep that money and save that money. Spending money is the easiest thing to do. There's no shortage of people that want you to spend your money. Saving money is the hard part. Saving money is the hard part. And knowing how to have $100,000 in your bank account and keep it there and put it into an investment that grows 5-10% a year, year after year, and you keep it there. Look at what's happening right now. The country isn't fucked up because all these people have savings. The country's fucked up because people have been living paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly.
And once they lose their job, they can't pay their rent. If everyone had, you know, like you're supposed to save 10% of your money in that book is what they say. Like before you spend money on bills, personal belongings, whatever, take 10% of what you have and put it aside and let that money grow. Who really does that?
Nobody.
Nobody. If everyone did that and this happened, everyone would say, okay, cool, I'll just go into my savings. Not a big deal. I've got a year. I've got a year to make this work.
Yeah, who thinking that this would have happened?
Nobody.
Ain't too many people think for a rainy day, a day like this.
Correct.
The average person ain't thinking like that. So at the end of the day, this is where we at now. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to work. You're not going to get that check. Now we sitting there waiting on a check.
Yeah.
It ain't going to help us.
Yeah.
Not only rent, you got everything else. Food, lights, gas, water. $1,200 ain't finna fix it.
Then your kids.
Is they gonna give us to us every month?
No.
Okay. Yeah. That's a one-time.
A one-time $1,200 check.
Shit,
this is what I'm saying. Like it's not gonna help. Like it's not gonna help.
But reparation is you know, they just gotta figure out a way to give that to the right people.
Yeah.
Everybody don't want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get reparations. No, you got to figure out a way to get it, and people get it, and then we got to know and learn how to be responsible for our money and our well-being.
Yeah, and like I said, I've never been against cash reparations. I've never been against land reparations.
Right.
I said possibly a form of education.
What?
And that's it. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Got so many people that's on his coattail. I ain't gonna even say coattail. That's mad at him. And me personally, my whole thing is, what the fuck they mad at him for? Because he took a company and he went bam and here your company is starving, and get on the same page.
Yeah.
Don't hate about it. Like I said with Alex, I don't understand how a man can say certain things about another man. Maybe the way Vlad do his business, you do yours totally different. You know what I'm saying? And then your content is totally different from Vlad's.
Mm-hmm.
Your way just ain't paying. So you got to figure out a way how to get your shit to here. It ain't nobody else's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, let's not just blame everybody else for our situation. Let's fix our situation. You know what I'm saying? Here my partner is in jail, and I wake up to a conversation that this, you know, why is you speaking on me like that? You know what I'm saying? We friends. And that shit is so hard to come by for me these days, because every situation I involve myself in, I go big on my loyalty, my friendship, the motorcycle set. You know, I don't give a fuck where we went. I'm 2 pistols on the hip, and we legs kicked up and we rolling. I walked away from that because motherfuckers wasn't right. Being in the hood cost me so much being a gang member, so much. Death Row Records cost me so much. The loyalty, it cost so much. And then here I am with Gangster Chronicles, and I got my people that I'm riding to die for. And this is my conversation to them. If a motherfucker walk in this room and think he gonna attack you, he attack me. My first thing is to shoot. I don't want it. I don't know him. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker for you. Here I am, pissed off that why attack me of all motherfuckers? And I love Reggie.
Yeah.
And to hear him say, well, I don't know, James, we should never have that conversation because I'm not gonna never have that conversation about him. Reggie have to be sitting right here for me to say something. If it's that fucked up, I'm gonna say it right then and there.
Yeah.
So everybody just ain't built like that. And I'd rather walk away from this type of shit here than to go where I want to go with it or where I felt I should have went with it. So it's crazy, man.
Well, there was a situation that kind of played out on my platform a little bit where Bosco 100 came on the Gangster Chronicles.
Right.
Did an interview with you guys.
Right.
And then afterwards, he, said a bunch of things about you and Reggie.
Right.
Calling y'all, dry snitches and so
Right.
forth. He came on my platform on VladTV, and I brought that up.
Right.
Right. And ironically, this is kind of funny how things kind of play out, is you and I spoke about it.
Right.
Right. Before he came in.
Yeah.
And, you said how kind of annoyed you were at that whole situation and so forth. He went on Gangster Chronicles.
Yeah.
He was a guest, early guest.
Yeah.
I have not personally heard that episode.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, he was very respectful and
shaking hands the whole night.
Shaking hands.
That dude, and I thought he was real cool. But, we was going to use him as a third wheel with Reggie. We was going to use either him or Spider Loke. When the boss decided not to just throw somebody in the seat, I don't know if he got wind or whatever, he goes on his show and this rat motherfucker and this Reggie a rat and wait a minute, this dude was just bam. So I felt we need to holler at this cat. And then he get to talking about my brother. You know what I'm saying?
What did he say about your brother?
He said that I spoke on Buntry, telling what Death Row doing, and wait a minute. For number one, this is my brother. You don't know nothing about my family. If you got a problem with me, keep my family out of it. For number one, and if you feel as a man that you have a problem, you should address it when you came. Don't be cool with me and shake my hand and then go back and think I'm supposed to bite into this little bullshit you talking about. If you feel like that, handle your business. You know what I'm saying? That's why I separate myself from these clowns. I ain't got time for that shit.
That clip never came out accidentally because the guy that was working on it was no longer, had left the company.
Right.
And something got mixed up. So that particular clip of you responding to Bosco initially never came out. In the full interview, it's on there. Right. So if people want to go and look and find that part, they can find it. But you know how we do clips?
Yeah.
The Mob James response to Bosco never came out. But when Bosco sat down with me, I brought up that whole thing and I said, hey, he kind of was like, no, I don't remember what I said, but it's not that serious and so forth. And I said, hey, if you want to apologize, here's your chance. So Bosco apologized.
Right.
It's water under the bridge for me. Like, I don't want you to feel like, I don't want to feel like he got an enemy in me or like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever I said, you know what I mean? I apologize. Fuck it.
You apologize?
I'm a grown ass man.
All right. There you go. I'm not forcing you to say this.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I just, because it's so nothing, I don't even want it to people to think it's a thing.
Well,
like,
I think that's a big thing.
Then I hit you up and I said, hey, if you want to respond to this apology, I'll post it.
I did that.
And you accepted his apology.
Right.
How do you feel about that whole situation now?
It's nothing that I moved past it.
Yeah.
Once that man apologized and whether it was sincere or whatever, he apologized.
On a public platform.
Exactly. So I accepted that 100. After we talked, I'm gonna I'll say this and you can put it up there. Letting him know that I accept his apology. And I think that's where we need to go to. Instead of holding grudges, instead of acting a certain kind of way over something that was said where we can just walk away and let it go, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And by him apologizing, I woosad, because it wasn't nothing I can do to the man. I don't see him. We don't hang in the same place.
Yeah.
So I was getting over it already. But then when he apologized, it was like, wow. And then listening to you talk to him and he wanted to say, my bad. And that was good enough for me.
Yeah. And a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, you pressed Bosco. And I'm like, I didn't press him. Let me just clear the air on that. I did not press Bosco. I don't have the ability to press Bosco.
That's it right there.
Okay. Bosco is a street guy. He's from the Queen Street Bloods. He's done a bunch of prison time. I would not try to approach him in a hostile manner or try to somehow push the issue or push the line with someone like himself.
Right.
I have too much respect for him and his background to ever do that. Yeah. So I was not trying to press him or whatever. If he would have been like, I said what I said, fuck it.
Right.
That would have been the end of the conversation.
And that's what he did. That's what he could have did.
That's what he could have did.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. And honestly, I respect both of y'all for some grown man shit.
Right.
The fact that you said, hey, man, maybe we can even hang out sometime.
Yeah.
You didn't have to respond to that. You could have been like, nah, I don't accept that apology. He only said it because Vlad was kind of, had him in the hot seat.
No.
Nah, you accept his apology.
The first time I met him, I had a cool vibe with him. We chopped it up. I didn't have no problem with him. And I don't care what other people's perception is of him. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I don't know you until you show me a different way. So I was cool with the first time we met. Then he did the thing, which we don't have to speak on no more. And then he apologized. The only thing for me is to say, okay, I accept your apology.
Yep. But yeah, man, that was some grown man shit from everyone. I'm happy to have contributed to the piece. People always think that I try to create drama.
It probably wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have did it,
problems.
though. It probably wouldn't have never happened.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate it because just another brother, I ain't got to look back on and just think he coming after me.
There you go.
He probably feel the same way. So
now, he said something interesting in our interview. He said that when it comes to black gangs, if there's a problem between two black gangs, they go all out. They instantly go and they attack, they get violent and so forth. But when it comes to like black gangs dealing with like Mexican gangs, they want to talk it out.
Something could happen. All right, say we get my hood per se. Say we get into it with the Mexicans and then we get into it with some other blacks. For some reason, it's like niggas gonna gear up and go way harder on the blacks and they gonna kind of like look to talk it out or look for ways to smooth it out before they let it go there with the Mexicans.
yeah, we in there hurting ourselves opposed to going to hurting the other motherfuckers. We do ourselves worse than we would do somebody else. Going to war, I think the younger generation is more at ease with squashing the shit than opposed to when we were doing it. It was no hold bars for us. It wasn't nothing to talk about, should I say. Nowadays, a conversation with the other side or with the Mexicans is essential to them. Us, you just had to do what you had to do. And that was from both sides. Now, because they don't understand. The way it is today, they don't understand it. It's like, fuck it. You got more motherfuckers not understanding what the fuck is going on opposed to it don't matter. Now it matters. in a sense. But when it comes to black on black, 136 in it. I mean, with the business against each other. Other people, it don't happen like that.
Yeah. So you agree with that statement?
Oh, yeah. 100.
Well, the last issue that Reggie Wright had a problem with was a statement that you made on our last interview about how you saw Tupac spitting on people.
Right.
Now, Reggie claimed that he thinks that was just something that you read at one point. And I could tell you that I spoke to someone who was with Tupac essentially every day.
Right.
And he told me he had never seen Tupac spit on a fan. He said the only time he saw him spit on somebody was on journalists when he was like, that one time that he was leaving, he was like, fuck it, and he started spitting on people. But he said he's never actually seen him spit on anyone outside of that one particular instance.
Okay.
So can you kind of expand on what you said last time?
Me and Reggie, me and everybody, we have always said, why the fuck do this dude spit on people? Reggie tried to make it seem like he never heard of it, never saw it. He never seen Tupac being arrogant and all of this. And I say this, every time I speak on Tupac, I get 900 people hitting me, leave the fuck Tupac, leave Tupac alone. Everybody that worked for Death Row, everybody that was around Tupac know exactly how the fuck he did shit when he was on the Tupac thing. So I don't get where I'm wrong, but I'm wrong for saying anything about Tupac. Reggie telling people like I'm reading a newsletter, like I'm reading a whatever the fuck he's saying. I'm getting this from the side of my neck. I've been saying this for 20 motherfucking years. Everybody know where it's coming from. So I don't know, but it's coming from me saying it, which we done said back 600 times. If go back and listen to the clips, go back and listen to the Greg Kading, go back, I'm talking about all the way when Tupac passed. I've been saying it all the time.
So you personally saw Tupac spit on somebody?
Being with him? No.
Yeah. No.
No. But being around, sitting in a group like this and everybody talking about how wild and loose he is, yes.
So you heard someone say, hey, Pac, you spit on that
More
fan.
than one person saying that. Been around more than one person, being around him, and he walking through the crowd, pushing people in the face. Just a little, everything that the dude used to do. But it's Tupac, so I shouldn't say nothing about Tupac. If he right, he right. If he wrong, he wrong. I'm going to say it. But if I say it, then it's bam. I tell everybody, I didn't fuck with Tupac like that. I didn't hang and kick it with Tupac. Me and him weren't best friends. The only problem I had with me and Tupac was that he was trying to be from the hood. And that wasn't gonna go. But he was a Death Row Mob. I mean, when I say that, he hung with the Death Row homies. He wasn't in the hood doing this. So every time I spoke on Tupac, and I've said Tupac spitting on people several times, multiple times, not just in no one incident. And then Reggie even clarified his shit saying when they was at the mall and the niggas, the cats was throwing shit on him and he spit on the dude. So I didn't.
Wait, so what happened?
They was in the mall somewhere and some cats was talking shit and throwing something at them. And Tupac spit on the cats, start spitting at the dudes. Mm-hmm. They had multiple incidents like that. They, Las Vegas, when we was in Vegas gambling at the MGM, some motherfucker was talking shit at something, Tupac spit on him. Maybe that was his just reaction of getting at people like that.
Okay, but did you actually see that part or no?
I was there, but we were gambling.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So
yeah.
When he had the situation there, I don't want to say their name, Rage and all of them was there. Everybody was there at the same table gambling. He walked over here. Whatever happened over there, everybody had to go there because he spit on the motherfucker and they was mad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which I would have been. But it's just some shit, you just don't speak on it. And I didn't have to speak on it up until now. Until now I'm being questioned on the shit I say. So fuck it. If they want to open the doors to it, we can open the doors to the shit. On really how the cat really got down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, the same person that told me this, the guy that was around Tupac every day, and once again, there's a private conversation, so I can't let his name out. But
right.
He asked me a question to ask you. He said, do you think that Tupac was the reason that Death Row crumbled?
I think when Tupac got killed.
Not when he got killed, the introduction of Tupac into Death Row.
No.
Was that the reason why Death Row crumbled?
No, Death Row was already headed for self-destruction before Tupac came. Like I said, Death Row was involved in a lot of shit way before him. When Snoop Dogg was here, the beginning of it all the way to the end. So Tupac came and everything elevated because Tupac was there. It seemed like they got the movement more when Tupac came.
Right, because the one thing that he mentioned was, to ask your opinion whether Pac's energy there was the reason why Dre got pushed out. Because Pac and Suge, from his point of view, started to just hype each other up.
Yeah.
Yes, Pac was a certain way, Suge was a certain way, but once you put the two of them together, it was almost like a competition who could do crazier shit.
I'm gonna put it like this. When Tupac got to hanging with the homies, that escalated his game. That made him want to be more and do more to prove to the homies that he was with it. It made Suge feel bigger because here you got Tupac hanging with the homies and they moving the way they moving and he's trying to move with them. So everybody was pumped up on that shit opposed to the ones that didn't like what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to have him involved in having the shit and the shit that was going on and how other people's perception was of Tupac, then yeah, I mean, they helped each other. The homies helped Tupac feel like he was on top of the world.
Do you think Suge got pumped up also by having Tupac around?
Yeah. So did he destroy Death Row? No, it was already on his way.
Right. Well, because the one thing that I heard consistently was that Suge was the big homie that Tupac always wanted. Because before Suge, Haitian Jack was actually the big homie.
Right.
That was the dude that took him to the jewelry store and was like, nah, like, here's the Rolexes you buy. Here's the jewelry. Here's how you do, this is how you dress. This is how you do that. Because Pac never had a real father around. And Haitian Jack was that dude, but Haitian Jack kind of betrayed him. Haitian Jack ended up, there was the whole rape case and everything else like that. They separated the cases and so forth.
He got betrayed more than one time, Dan.
Right, but Suge was that dude that was like, yo, that's the big homie. That's the one that's gonna kind of, not only does he got money, but he got the label and he got all the blood,
and that's what
he got the muscle and everything else like that. And whether, he asked whether, that energy really made Dre go, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm out of here.
I think what happened with Dre is Dre felt like he was being pushed out and wasn't looking, he wasn't number one no more. He didn't feel like he was needed. And then when Dre seen the crazy shit that was going on, Dre probably felt like, man, I might be next. These motherfuckers might trip on me. And then the way Tupac talked to him and other people, like he was the boss. And ain't nobody gonna talk shit to Tupac because the homies might sock you upside your motherfucking head. Because he was one of them.
Did Dre have security when he would come by Death Row?
No,
or Can-Am or whatever? He just came by himself?
I never seen him with security.
Huh, that's
now,
interesting.
what he was doing after, because I didn't fuck with Death Row like that every day.
Yeah.
Because Mob James had issues. Certain things wouldn't go in a certain way. I felt a certain kind of way. So Mob James was like, here. Me and my brother used to fall out, Buntry, because of this, because of that. See what I'm saying? So I kept my distance. They kept their distance. I stayed at Let Me Ride Hydraulics. Let me do this. If I needed a check, I knew how to talk and tell Suge I needed a check, and I got a check. I didn't have to do the self-destruction bullshit because I can get a check just sitting here fucking with the cars, the lowriders. So I was good. So them going out of town and all that other shit, none of my business. I really didn't give a fuck. If something happened to one of the homies, then I was concerned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Daz had did an Instagram post at one point. He said before Tupac was on death row and cursed by Suge, he was cripping with Thug Life. I told him the night that we did the 5 songs for All Eyes on Me album, I said, Pac, don't let this gangbang come between us, aka death row versus dog pound. True facts.
Possibility. I mean, whatever they conversations was, Vlad, I can say it probably was.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people tell me that wherever Tupac hung out and whoever he fucked with, his loyalty was to that clique.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Bloods, Crips. What's the name they used to hang with him? Big Syke.
Big Syke.
You know, and he was doing his thing with him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, rest in peace, Big Syke. By
exactly.
The way. Yeah, we did his last interview.
Right.
Good
so
dude.
Coming in and hanging with these type of bloods, man.
Yeah.
Now I can elevate my game. I can do shit that I couldn't do with certain other individuals. But I can do all this. I can get all my frustration out on the motherfucker because I got this my backup right here. So he had a machine behind him. So Tupac didn't have to worry about none of that shit. So he was able to act out and do whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
Well, Mike Tyson said that Tupac's death was a perfect setup and the mastermind wasn't there.
Tupac got killed by Orlando Anderson. Tupac got killed because he hit a motherfucker that wouldn't take in no ass whooping by no rapper, regardless who he was.
I agree.
Everybody can say and put all this extra shit on it. There's some gang shit that happened. Tupac got killed by a motherfucking gangbanger that wasn't accepting no ass whooping. I can't go home and you hit me or did that to me. You niggas beat me.
Yeah.
So retaliation is a motherfucker. And that's what you get in gangbanging. If you shoot at me, be ready for them motherfuckers to shoot back. If they shoot back and they hit you, you can't go home crying and say they shot me. I've been shot 4 different times. I ain't never cried because these motherfuckers shot me. I'm out here doing the same motherfucking shit. Tupac didn't understand that. This is a different ball game right here. Half of these motherfuckers on both sides, Bloods and Crips, got that I don't give a fuck mentality. Now, it's just unfortunate nobody went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Orlando got killed doing what he do best. In the same fucking business that he did when Tupac and them jumped him.
Yeah.
So, no, it's not no what you call him. Suge at fault because Suge didn't separate business and the homeboys from Tupac. Business is business. This gang shit, you my money, sit your ass over here. I got 15 motherfucking big motherfuckers to take care of this small shit. Go sit down. Y'all get that motherfucker. And these motherfuckers from Compton. Orlando probably would have understood that better than Tupac whooping his ass. So I just don't understand how people just don't let it go. It's been 25 years. These men ain't coming back.
Right. And I just want to say that I personally have interviewed more people about the situation than anybody on earth, I think.
Right.
From the Keefy D's, who was in the car.
Yeah.
To the Mob Jameses, that was in Las Vegas at the club.
In Vegas, in a hood.
To Edie Amin, who was in the car directly behind Tupac. To Chris Carroll, who was the first responder.
Right.
To Greg Kading, who investigated it. To, and I'm sure I'm missing a certain people along the way here.
A whole lot of people.
And they all have told the exact same story that Orlando did it. You know, like from both sides, everywhere, I hear the same story. So let's just kill it. There's no mastermind.
Exactly.
It was what it was.
I'm so done of the story.
Yeah.
And I'm so done of speaking on Tupac. That's like a thorn in my ass because I don't have good things, I don't have bad things to say about him.
Yeah.
I didn't fuck with him like that, and people not understanding. But if I voice my opinion, like motherfuckers do on the daily, it's coming straight to me. But Reggie can say, Tupac sucked my dick, and ain't nobody mad at him. When it come from me and just being honest,
Yeah.
they mad at what I say. But I mean, to each his own.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson and all of them people, man, that dude got killed by Orlando Allenson. That was some straight gangbanging shit, and it wasn't no goddamn uniform that killed him. Why protect the police? If that's what happened, the police got him. Why would Suge want to get him? And this is money.
Oh yeah, and I remember when I interviewed Chris Carroll, like I would bring up all the conspiracy theories. They're like, one of them was that he switched bodies. He switched Tupac's bodies, and he's like, well, I was on a bicycle, so I'd have to have a corpse on me when I showed up. And,
wow.
And like, yeah.
There was even a story I read that I had switched the body. Right. I'm like, I'm a guy on a bicycle. I don't have another dead guy on the back of my bike to switch a body. I'm like, I don't know, do these people give any thought whatsoever to these type of things? It's not only could I not switch a body, nobody can switch a body. Well, first of all, you have to have a body handy when this goes down.
Right.
And then there's multiple people from the whole way. I mean, he goes into the trauma center. He's got a team of probably a dozen people working on him the whole way with cops there and everything else. And it's just, those things, they make great stories, but you only have to look into it about that far to see how ridiculous it is.
And he also told me that, the autopsy photo was real, that someone in that department leaked that out. Yeah, when they cut him open like that. He said that was a real picture. Everyone's, oh, that's fake. He's still living in Arizona. No, that's a real picture. That's really, unfortunately, his autopsy photo.
That guy's dead.
And he's not around. I interviewed the outlaws who smoked his ashes. Like, he's gone.
I mean, if I'm like this, if they putting so much on a Tupac murder, why you motherfuckers don't come in the hood and put that much emphasis on every cat that get killed out here? We'll be better off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's been 25 fucking years, and this is like still hot news.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
It's time to let it go.
Well, since last time, I guess a judge said that Suge has reaffirmed that Suge has to pay $107 million. I guess to live.
170?
107. Suge's in jail with no assets.
If he do a book, if he do a movie,
I'm sure that'll be done through someone else's name at this point. Shout out to Nick Cannon, who's working on a book with Suge.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Now, I seen your interview with Nick Cannon, man. I think he felt a certain kind of way about some of the shit I say with Suge. And my response to Nick Cannon and anybody that got a problem of how I say what me and Suge was, I'm going to say this. Me and Suge used to be bam. I appreciated everything Suge did for me when I came home. So I gave Suge all of me, 100. Suge turned my friendship into hatred by doing what he was doing. And people on the outside don't understand. I don't feel the way I used to feel about him because at the end of the day, this is where he at.
Right. In our last interview, you mentioned that you have no beef towards him. You actually even put some money on his books.
Yeah, and people still talk.
Yeah.
So I got to stop allowing people to say this and that, or Suge just said this, and it gets back to me. Why is it coming back to me?
Yeah.
So I'm like this. Any damn thing I can do to you, Suge Knight, because of where you at, I'm not finna come in there just to do it. So we good, but I'm just trying to stay at a peaceful place with him. You know what I'm saying? And not trip because my brother is gone. 18 years, Alton been dead. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need all the anger, especially that he's in jail now.
Just recently, Dr. Dre's The Chronic was added to the Library of Congress. Were you there during the recording of that process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre is I like his music. I like Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre was very, very smart getting away from death row when he did. He seen it coming. A lot of the other dummies seen it coming but stayed. My dumb ass saw it coming, but my dumb ass figured it out and slid to the side. All the other shit we can deal with. I'm glad he's doing good, man.
Yeah, he's a billionaire essentially, or close to it.
And that's why I say, how can I talk about taking this nigga Chevy and this motherfucker got billions? I might need to fuck with him one day.
Right. Well, Hasbro, the toy company, now owns Death Row.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Ironic.
A toy company.
A toy company owns Death Row. Tupac's BMW is up for auction for like $1.75 million. I guess they'd actually fixed it. They fixed the bullet holes. I don't know why anyone would want that car, especially since the bullet holes are gone now. I can imagine the significance of having the bullet-ridden riddled BMW, but a BMW that he got killed in that's already been fixed up for $1 million. Like I just don't know why anyone would even bother buying that. But
who got the car?
I guess I don't know. I guess someone owns it. That's what they're trying to get the money for. Yeah, man. Still a lot of money to be made off of Tupac. And
and I don't see why. I mean, this conversation, this story is going to keep going, and it's going to change many, many times over. Look how many times it didn't change in 25 years.
Yeah.
So give it another 10 years, 20 years, we're still going to be talking about this shit, him and Biggie, and then, I mean, we're not getting nothing out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
We're not getting nothing out of it. I got 11-year-old, 15-year-old motherfuckers cussing me out. You wouldn't even hear them. How do you know the story? So it's crazy.
Well, your show on the Gangster Chronicles.
Right.
And I listen to every episode.
Right. Appreciate that.
You said some interesting stuff in some of your episodes. You said that in Compton, people get shot at for playing DJ Quick in their car sometimes.
When the MCA thing was going on, I got shot at. We was going up Rosecrans and Central, and I was bumping this shit in my Cadillac, and we just heard pop, pop, pop. I hit the corner, we kept pushing. But yeah.
You got shot at for playing DJ Quick's music.
It was a war at the time. And the way we were, if this Crip cat is against the hood, all our hoods used to be like
right,
this.
Because, so DJ Quick was Treetop Pyru.
Right.
You're Mob Pyru.
Yeah.
You guys were united?
Every neighborhood in Compton, every blood set in Compton was
united.
Was good at one time.
Okay. And MC8,
different neighborhood.
He's a Crip. Which set is he from?
That's what is that? Tragnu.
Crip. So because you were bumping DJ Quick's music, you got shot at.
It probably wasn't a Tragnu that shot at me, but it's somebody that was happened to be right there, hear the music, and they bumping DJ Quick. Them niggas gotta be Bloods. Well, they knew from my Cadillac, they knew we was Bloods. And they just took shots at my car.
It was a red Cadillac?
No, I had a white Cadillac.
Okay.
But, I mean, I used to wear a red hat every day.
Gotcha.
With the P on it, with the IRU on it.
Yeah.
Spelled out Pyru. I mean,
yeah, it's just sort of crazy how in 2020 with all the cameras around, if that happened, police would just look up who did it and they would get caught the next day. But back then it was the Wild West for real.
Back then you better be ready for whatever.
Yeah. You talked about a situation where someone actually died in your arms?
Kenny Tubbs. Well, Kenny Tubbs, his little brother, on that incident, Kenny Tubbs, that was one of my ride or dies. He was shot 4 times and sitting there holding him and just come on, man, you can't go. And I had your brother in the same position around the corner. And your brother died and he just swole up and took that bubble. And Kenny Tubbs kind of did the same thing. It was like, I'm hitting him and just, no, you gotta stay woke. And just the blood coming out of his mouth and then that, I knew it was over. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you let out one last breath,
He
basically?
just, and I knew he was gone. It's the worstest feeling ever, just to see. And I just saw your little brother the same way.
So you were holding his little brother when he died?
I think he died a year before Tubbs, and just around the block, the Crips came by, shot him, and he was hit in the stomach. And just being there, and we in front of Miss Ray in them house, and we lifting his head up, and just the shit coming out of his mouth, and his stomach swelled up, and he was gone. Kenny Tubbs pretty much was like that, but his stomach didn't just swell up. He just took that gas. And doing that, I mean, just holding him in and just watching it happen, and just know the life is gone. I saw his life, and bam, and then this was my friend. We done did a gang of shit together. This is like, damn, this is it right here. It wasn't no joke. It was all for real. And it's just some shit I'll never forget it, that day.
And you were right there when it happened, so were you?
No, I wouldn't. When we heard the shots, everybody came around the corner.
Oh, okay, got it.
And when we got around there, Kenny Tubbs was laying down on the ground. And I go to grab him, and it was like he was trying to talk, like just trying to talk and shit. And it's crazy. It's crazy. He just took that last breath. And, you know, people just don't understand. I mean, you know, you don't think about it until you get in that position, in a predicament like that, and just to see it happen like that, it just take a toll on you. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the ground several times with bullets in my ass. You know what I'm saying? And never just, man, I must be the luckiest motherfucker on the planet. I ain't dead. And this is his first time being shot. Like my brother Buntry, my little brother Timmy was shot multiple times. We still here. And, you know, they get shot on this incident and now they gone. Everything that we used to do and going out there and doing this same shit right here to other people, it made you think, but then once it's gone and the funeral over, it's fuck it, we back to the same old shit. And it just go with you forever, man. It just, you can't forget it. It'll never go away. It'll never go away.
Do you know who did it?
That don't matter. It don't matter. You have circumstances that you got circumstances on certain shit, and you ask yourself, if you put me in a situation, would I be the same way? Would I react the same way? And in certain situations, yes, I would. Family is everything. Family is everything. Some people don't believe in that. I do. So, you know, I don't know, man. It's so long ago. So long ago. But out of that whole situation, this was in my head when I think about Tubbs. You know, seeing his little brother in the same situation and they buried on top of each other. My brother and so many others. You know, I came close to really killing one of my other friends. You know what I'm saying? Choking him out, and he took his last fucking breath on me. You know?
What do you mean by that?
I had, rest in peace, his name Big Frank. And this motherfucker's like 6'5", red rags all over his. We called him Six Flags because he had 6 rags every day. And just fucking with me and he playing with me, I wrapped my legs around his waist and took the towel and put it around his neck and was trying to, well, actually, I choked him out. And I choked him until he just went limp and pissed on himself. And when I did that, I'm like, fuck, I done killed my friend. So I got up and started slapping him and hollering for my mama. Mama! And I'm slapping the shit out of him and he won't come. He won't come to. And as I'm slapping him, he started moving and my mama grabbed him and lift him up some kind of way by his shirt. And he went, and he started breathing. I just knew this motherfucker was finna kill me when he got up. But it was a good thing because, man, I didn't kill my friend. I done shot a lot of my friends.
Well, you shot your brother at one point, accidentally.
Accident.
Yeah,
but,
an accident.
And everybody is an accident. But it's just so crazy how easy it is to take life, man.
Well, you also talked about kind of the trauma you felt when you saw your brother Buntry in the morgue.
Right.
And actually seeing his dead body.
Right.
You said that's something that really
I'll
fucked
never
you
forget, man. Every time I look at a square block, I see him going into the wall. Seeing my brother stretched out like that, and I'm talking to him and he can't move. He ain't moving, and his eyes is halfway closed, right? So I'm just looking at him. I know he see me, but he ain't moving, he ain't saying nothing. The little homie Kevin Woods was in there with me. I had to fight the security and the police to get in here. They wouldn't let me in this room. And just seeing him, I wish I never went in there to see him.
Yeah.
Because every time I closed my eyes, I saw that.
Yeah,
so.
my father passed a few months ago, and when we went to the funeral, and I found this out too late, it's in Jewish tradition to bury someone in the same, basically, state that they die in. You know how usually in a funeral they clean up the body, they close their mouth, they put some makeup on them?
Right.
I find out too late that this is not the case with my religion. So we go to the viewing of the casket and I see my father with his mouth open, basically in the exact same position that he took his last breath in. And that's something that just I cannot get out of my head. And I was so angry at the whole situation that like we just had to just close the casket and you know, and that was that. And it was just like, yo, this is my last image of my father. Like they couldn't have, you know, and they're like, oh no, this is the way it's done. I'm like, had I known, I would have told him no. Like we'll just take him somewhere else and clean him up. But like, it's fucked up seeing the corpse of someone you love in such a bad state.
Wow.
That it's just you never. When I think of him, this is unfortunately the image that pops in my head.
It's still the same as seeing him laying in that casket for the last time.
Yeah.
Sometime unrecognizable still, and ain't even took a bullet to the head. The morgue done put so much shit on you, you don't even know who it is. It's pretty much the same thing. It'll never go away. It'll never be over, and that's something you gotta live with. I live with it. I'm so much better at it now. Alton's birthday just passed. I didn't have a drink. I didn't feel like I wanted to tear up shit in the house. Nobody. So I'm learning how to deal with that.
Yeah.
The only part I can't deal with, which is obvious, is speaking on it. And I get emotional about it because I feel a certain kind of way and I feel like it's my fault in a sense. And that's probably why I'm where I'm at. I'm like this. Buntry was a grown-ass man when he came to death row, when he got out of prison. Know exactly what he doing, know exactly how he was getting down. I had to come to the sense, regardless of, this is my brother, but we all had fucked up ways. And some of us, a whole lot of us have met our demise on doing the shit that we love to do, that we believe was right at the time. Protecting the hood, protecting the homie, killing for a homie, or doing whatever the case might be. So I can't take nothing away from it, and I can't add no extra shit to it. It is what it is. But we all have to pay for what we do. My day gonna come one day, but I was one of the smart motherfuckers in the hood to say, that ain't right. No matter how reckless I was, certain shit we don't do. And there's a way to do it. So I think that's what got me feeling, why the fuck am I so lucky? You know what I'm saying? I had a bitch ass daddy, was on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Shit that I had to hide from motherfuckers that was coming to the house. Just the way I was living. I can't blame my upbringing. I can't be mad at it anymore. I let it go. You know what I'm saying? That cat is gone out of my life. He dead. So, I mean, I got so many, when he died, it was just so funny to me. It was a relief to me that I sat outside. And the whole time they doing this funeral, I'm sitting outside smoking cigarettes and taking a piss. It was like it was just a relief from everywhere. I didn't care about that dude. I was glad that situation was over. And now I can woosah because he's buried. He's gone, and in Texas.
You're talking about your father.
Yeah. So that was just, I felt cool by that. I was mad at my moms and my grandfather for making me come all the way to Texas to bury this clown. You feel me? But I didn't share the same experiences that you shared, how you felt about your pops. I didn't have that shit.
Yeah.
And
well, it's probably the equivalent of burying your mother, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, me and my mom's had issues. Yeah. But man, through the grace of God, I was able to take care of her before she passed.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my father. Me and him had issues, but I took care of him before he passed.
I should have been the last person to be there for her.
Yeah.
The shit I went through. But this dude will tell you right here, my mama was with the business. And I loved her for that. But when she switched and went to God, oh, Lord have mercy. What is your problem, lady? All hell broke loose. So, but I love her. And I'm glad I was there to take care of her. You know what I'm saying? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner I was cooking for her. I was helping her. Lifting her up off the toilet. Doing her toenails. That's my mama. Regardless of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Him, totally different. You know what I'm saying? If they bring him back today, I'd kill him tomorrow. I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't miss a heartbeat. And that's just how I feel. But I can't keep blaming the past for what I'm doing today. I can only fix this shit. You know what I'm saying? If I continue to be reckless and do this other shit, then I'm just all out full of shit. So I wouldn't talk and speak and say this other shit that I'm doing. I have no desire for gangbanging. I'm not on that page. I'm just trying to pay, and I know it ain't much. Just do, and I'm doing different because of the way I lived, and I can't blame nobody for my upbringing, man. It is what it is.
How do you feel as someone who started with one of the original Blood sets?
What you mean, how do I feel?
Well, I'm going to get to this. You know, as someone who started with Mob Piru, and back then Piru was just, I mean, the Bloods was just an LA thing, right? Now you have Bloods in New York, you know, the 9 Trays, you know, that was considered one of the oldest Blood sets in New York. Okay. You know, Tekashi's, you know, that whole crew has all gone down. You now see Bloods probably in all 50 states.
Right.
When you see that, how does that make you feel about your organization?
That's just like the beginning of time, Vlad. I mean, you had gangbangers way before we grew up, or even came out of the womb, and it's going to continue. You have guys that came from California, lived here, and they branching off, and they starting these gangs in these different cities. I can't be mad at them for doing what they was doing. Once upon a time, I lived and thrived for waking up to be what I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't wait to put on a different color to go do what I was doing. I couldn't wait to hop in their car and let's go. You know what I'm saying? I live for that.
Yeah.
So I can't knock cats for doing what they're doing. I knock them for how they are. The
Right.
way they just so don't give a fuck. We had rules to the game. We gave out passes. You didn't fuck with a motherfucker that had his kids and his family. You didn't mess with cats that carried a Bible. I don't care if he was cripped down. He know what I'm saying, because we seen this cat and I was on him. He was finna lose his life. And he said, well, man, I'm through the grace of God or something. And he got a pass because he pulled out his Bible and showed us
Wow.
what was happening. Just showed the Bible and we good. Got
Really?
a pass.
A Bible got someone out of a murder, pretty much.
Saved
Potential
his life.
murder, yeah.
Saved his life. So we had respect in that sense. You don't touch a brother and you know that man is with his moms or his kids.
Kids, yeah.
I'm not gonna take your life and your kids right there. You got to pass, my nigga.
Yeah, and the thing about Crips and Bloods is they're just so well marketed by like the rappers and the media and everything else like that. Like,
Right.
you know, I interviewed King Tone, who was one of the former leaders of the Latin Kings.
Right.
And, you know, I'd heard stories that like, you know, Big Pun was a Latin King and so forth, but Big Pun wasn't pushing that, you know, that conversation in all his music.
Right.
Whereas all these, you know, like the YGs of the world and so forth, they really push Bloods.
Right.
Snoop pushed Crippin', like more so than probably anyone before him. It's just so well marketed and it's worldwide.
Yeah.
So you got Crips in Vietnam. you got Bloods in Europe.
Everywhere.
You got it really comes down to marketing, I think.
And then all these people that's trying to jump on that bandwagon that got money don't have to be a part of that. Don't set yourself up for failure. Gangbanging don't get you shit. Long as I gangbang, I never got a check. I didn't get paid for this shit. I got satisfaction for doing what I was doing. The hood loved you for doing what you was doing. But when you stop doing, the hood don't give a fuck. The hood will be the first one to bring you down. Try to filter your name. Pretty much, you start off good, you end up fucked up.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what every fucking gangbanger there is. It don't pay.
Right. And you also said that, you know, on the Gangster Chronicles that you felt that most gangsters are just lazy. They don't want to work.
That's true. Everybody feel like, and you hear people say it, but when we say it to each other, I mean, some motherfuckers just want to be rappers. Some motherfuckers don't want to work. Some of us are cool with laying up on our girl and she getting child support, Social Security, or money for her kids. But they let this motherfucker lay up and he ain't got to do nothing. But I say to them, one day she gonna get tired of your ass. And while you comfortable on living off of her, when it's time for her to get rid of you, you're gonna get right back out there and you ain't gonna know what to do because you're so comfortable on relaxing off another motherfucker. It's time to get up and be accountable for your bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just want to end it with this. I interviewed Keefe D.
Right.
And recently, and you mentioned this on the Gangster Chronicles, that you and Keefe D actually started talking.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to actually have a sit-down interview.
Right.
Which I guess never happened.
Well, we waiting. The people I'm working with is just so goddamn slow on doing what they're doing, and they want it to be so perfect. Then I don't have a choice. I have to be patient. So it's going to happen. Me and Keefe D have never, ever been so close to each other in a conversation or whatever.
Because he actually came in and sat down with you.
Yeah. And that was like, okay.
Was that kind of weird?
It was weird.
Because you guys were arch enemies at one point, in a way.
Yeah. If I'd have thought like I thought 10, 20 years ago, that wouldn't have never been. Somebody would have been getting their ass whooped or something. that would have never happened. Just for that to happen and there's no reaction of anything from me, I know I'm changing. I know I'm good. So it's just basically us just talking about the shit that was going on. I don't know why they want to make it this and that, but let's get this shit done and people can see if these two motherfuckers are from different hoods can just even sit down and look at each other, anything else is possible. Anything can happen here. I think he was a little nervous, like being up close and personal with James. I'm gonna leave that. I'm about right there. Yeah, he was a little nervous about being around me.
Yeah, well, I remember when I interviewed him. I mean, I had armed security in the room with me. You know,
his security?
No, my security.
Why?
Well, I didn't know Keefe. I didn't know what was about to happen.
I don't think he living like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, but me, you know, when it took a long time to get that interview done, and when it got done, I made sure that everyone was.
Oh, I'm going through that shit right now.
Yeah.
He hit me the last time. Where the check? What? You done missed 3 meetings, motherfucker. What do you mean, where the check?
Let me tell you something. It took me about 6 months to get that interview together. So many missed meetings. People don't know what goes into making this happen. They just say, "Oh, look, you got a Keefe D interview."
That's
no,
right.
Motherfucker. Let me tell you.
After we get off of this, man, I'm gonna talk to you about that.
Yeah, there was missed meetings, there was missed flights, there was health issues that popped up,
and that's what he's doing. With me.
There was just so much that happened that when it actually happened, I'm like, oh shit, it's actually happening finally.
He is so cautious about where he's going.
Yeah,
and he's only that way because he just don't have no clue who feel the way they feel about the Tupac situation.
Of course.
And once he opened that can of worms, then now he's just so leery about like everything around him. The only time he probably relaxes at home with his wife.
Yeah, and I brought up that question. I said, do you worry about, you know, a crazy Tupac fan or whatever else? And he goes, hey man, I'm still the same gangster. You know, if they want to bring it, they can bring it.
I'm not worried about that shit. Yeah.
Okay. Now that all that stuff
I'm not gonna let nobody harm me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna protect myself to the fullest.
Yeah.
And I'm still that same motherfucker. Yeah.
You know, I don't know what state of mind he's in.
Well, I don't think
days.
he's doing it like that. And I don't think he's in a position, and I hope he see this. I don't think he's in a position to speak on it like that. Even with his health issues or whatever the case might be. There's some cats out here, and I wouldn't even, like, bam, I don't give a fuck, but some things you say, some things you don't say. But I don't think he's ready for that type of shit. I think he's trying to get by.
Right, because he's what, 60 years old right now? Close to it?
About the same size, about 59 at least, 58,
okay,
59.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If not 60, then
At
close
least.
to it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, he was involved in what he was involved with. He never went to prison for it. He got to live out the rest of his life.
Exactly.
I don't think any charges will ever be...
Ain't nobody going to jail for this shit.
No one's going to jail for it. Everyone walked away from it. And he's the last person in that car who's still alive.
Everybody is still making money. Everybody is still doing the documentaries. How many documentaries can you do on the dead man
Right.
after he been gone 25 years? Ain't nothing new to talk about.
You're right.
They still talking about the same old shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I remember, you know, I still get calls from people I've interviewed that now they're doing other documentaries because of our interviews, which is great if that's what they want to do. Yeah, man. Listen, Mob James, man. Always appreciate our talks.
All the time. Man.
Always
All the
appreciate it. Seems like you're doing good. Like I had mentioned off camera, people were commenting about how much thinner you look now, how much healthier you look from our first interview. You can go ahead and compare and look what, you know, how you look now and how you look back then.
I'm so good. Stop eating that rice, that white rice, that bread.
Yeah.
Ain't good for you. Hit the block, walking, not getting on no bike or driving, walk.
Yeah.
So I'm cool. I ain't lifting no damn weights. I told him, all the weights I got in my garage, come get that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just take way better care of myself without, you know, just going overboard how I eat. So,
yep.
Man, God is good for me.
That's what it is. Make sure you guys check out the Gangster Chronicles, a great podcast that I listen to every episode. And man, listen, like always, wish you nothing but the best.
That's right.
All right. Peace.
100.